Water Power Commission support this legislation?
I don't know that they formally support it, but I've talked with Mr. Nahai, and I know he's very eager on this idea.
So they do now. Thank you. Okay, that's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. That item is now before us. Thanks for being here, Mr. Levine, and showing your leadership on this issue. Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
15 ayes.
Thank you.
And joining us now by phone is the District 12 Council member at the center of the Las Lomas controversy, Greg Smith. Welcome to Council Week in Review.
Thanks, Jack. Good to be here again.
I guess first, congratulations on getting more votes than perhaps even you knew you had on the council to stop the project.
Well, the important thing is you get 8. That's the magic number, and anything above that is insurance. So we had a good insurance policy on that one.
What happens now? We've heard, for example, there might be other attempts to revise the project and bring it back. There could be lawsuits, for example. What are you expecting to happen?
Well, there's nothing they can do to revive the project and bring it back other than really starting at point 1, which is they walk in the door, file an application with a new check, and start all over again. The other option they have is to sue, but unlike a couple of my colleagues, I think there's absolutely no probability of success for a lawsuit because, as I pointed out in the council debate, the city attorney forgot to tell the council, but there was one very significant lawsuit that dealt with the city of L.A. that says the council has the absolute right to make up its mind and turn down a project.
I gather there may be some other complications about who actually owns and controls the land that would go to make up Las Lomas.
And that's been challenged by the county supervisor, Antonovich, who has asked for an investigation actually into it because the developer had actually signed forms with the county and the city of L.A. under perjury of law stating that he owned all the property when he did not. And so that's actually being investigated by the county right now.
I'm sure it's occurred to some of our viewers already that if this project had gone through and was annexed eventually by the city of Los Angeles, it probably would have been your district.
There's an unknown there, and that is when you do reapportionment, which is coming up in 2010, you look at the population of the districts, and you have to balance all 15 evenly. So if you have an disproportionate number of people, say, in the harbor, it spreads across the entire city. And so it's really not known. The argument I made is, irregardless of the boundary lines where it would be drawn, the impacts were going to be to my district, and primarily my district, Mr. Zion's district, Mr. Cardenas's district. So really, those artificial lines are insignificant. The question is, where's the impacts?
Could these people behind the Las Lomas project now go back to LAFCO, the Local Area Formation Commission, and ask to be adjuncted to, for example, Santa Clarita?
They could. The problem is they sued Santa Clarita as well, and that lawsuit should be finalized about April 10th, we believe. Las Lomas was already, two-thirds of it was in the Santa Clarita, what we call sphere of influence. Santa Clarita had zoned the land for R1 development, and Las Lomas could only go back to LAFCO now and ask for about 150 homes in Santa Clarita and about 100 in the city of L.A. That's all they can legally be entitled to in front of LAFCO.
That's assuming that there's no change in the zoning.
Well, the LAFCO laws state that the zoning has to be done before they go to LAFCO. So either Santa Clarita City or Los Angeles City would have to change the zoning to accommodate them before they even get to LAFCO.
Well, so Councilman Smith, it sounds as if you think that this is pretty much checkmate as far as the Las Lomas project is concerned.
Yes, I think this is done. It is over. Los Angeles County supervisors say we don't want it. Santa Clarita City says we don't want it. And as of Wednesday, Los Angeles City said we don't want it. The only rights this gentleman has now is to build 247 homes.
Given that this does remain quite a bit of it within the sphere of influence of the city of Los Angeles, as well as you point out of Santa Clarita, what use do you think this land should be put to?
Well, I think 247 homes would be the maximum I'd want to see there. Anyone who has ever looked at that corridor knows that the traffic impacts are just unmitigatable. There's no way you can build anything of any significance there. Congressman Brad Sherman has a bill in Congress to create a rim of the San Fernando Valley wildlife corridor, which would preserve a good portion of the Las Lomas area forever as open space. That makes a lot of sense, quite frankly, because it really is the bridge that connects the San Gabriel Mountain to the Santa Monica Mountains, and that canyon area there is the natural bridge that really needs to be preserved, I think, forever. For the ability of wildlife to move through the area, as well as just to create a natural buffer between the two the two big valleys, the Santa Clarita Valley and the Los Angeles-San Fernando Valley.
As someone who drives through that area from time to time, it occurs to me that you'd need would be nice to have an additional wildlife corridor to either go under or over the freeway itself there.
Yes, and that's been a proposal that the Sierra Club and Congressman Sherman are looking at. There are some ways that wildlife can traverse underneath the freeway there now, and it's just not sufficient. So anything that make it worse is not acceptable. But we're looking at making that better, and there are some opportunities to do that just a little further north where the freeway on-ramp is.
In their proposal, I had read the allegation, or at least the contention, that some of the land that would have gone into this project actually has toxic materials in the soils themselves. If this project does not go forward, then presumably those toxics would not be mitigated.
That's probably true. Depends on who takes possession of the land. If the federal government was to take it as part of a wildlife corridor, a federally designated area, they would have the ability and really the responsibility of the owners of the land to go and look at that. No one really knows what's up there. There's a little industrial use that's been up there over the years. I doubt that there's much in the way of contamination. It's just not really pretty land, but it's open space. It's really important corridor.
Another topic that came up that you were in the middle of as well this week had to do with solar panels. How's your own solar panel project going?
Well, my personal solar panel project is great. We turned it on about 2 weeks ago, and I have stood out every weekend, and I go out every morning and every night and watch the meter running backwards. Just it's kind of thrilling to watch. It's nothing else. And I've been kind of watching my meter usage the last 2 weeks, and it's been pretty much at zero. So personally, I love it. The bill I introduced was to support a bill that State Assemblyman Levine has put in that would allow local governments to help people that can't really afford to finance solar panels themselves, to do it through a city financing mechanism and then apply it over 20 years on their property taxes, so that anybody then could afford, anyone at least who owns property could afford to put solar in. And right now it's really restricted for those that really are in good financial condition or corporations, and that's not right.
Well, I think you've lived in the same house for quite a while. You probably own it free and clear, so you could afford this.
That's right. Well, we owned it free and clear up until the point we started to add on, and then the banks have an interest in it again.
But this is in the tens of thousands of dollars for a medium-sized home.
That's correct. My share of it would have been $19,000, and that's my share. The city of L.A. through DWP grants was picking up $26,000 of it. So if I had paid for the whole thing, I wouldn't be doing it.
If this goes through the way you suggest that it should, and there are incentives for the rest of us to put solar paneling on our roofs, what do you think the overall impact would be within the city of Los Angeles?
Well, I think you see a tremendous reduction of our dependence as a city on power generation from sources that pollute. We have converted a good portion of our what we call our peak power generators to natural gas, which is cleaner burning. But we still have some older burning plants online. In fact, we had a coal-burning plant, which we just took offline 2 years ago as a backup plant. So we're trying to create as much clean energy as possible through upgrading of our systems. But solar energy provides people the ability to just take themselves offline totally and not impact the growth factor that's hitting the city of L.A. and all of the United States, really, but particularly the Southwest. Our growth rates are outstripping our ability to produce energy. And here in California, we saw the devastating effects of that a few years ago when we had the blackouts.
Well, I hope you'll be able to come into the studio and keep us posted as this project moves forward.
We will.
Very good. District 12 Councilmember Greg Smith, thanks for joining us on Council Week in Review.
My pleasure, Jack.
Again, the Council voted on Wednesday, March 19th to halt review of the massive Las Lomas project, which essentially ends the development, and they vote to support a solar power financing plan for residents. LA City View is the government access cable channel for the City of Los Angeles, featuring live coverage of city council meetings and programming about city department services and events. Now, if you have suggestions or comments about any of the programs you see here on Channel 35, or would like to receive a free viewer guide, call our viewer hotline at 213-473-3978. And we invite you to address the Los Angeles City Council on any item on the council agenda, as well as during public comment. You may come downtown to City Hall or go to the Van Nuys City Hall and participate via video teleconferencing. Remember, you can watch all Los Angeles City Council meetings live in their entirety on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays beginning at 10 a.m. On Sundays, you can watch the replay of all the week's meetings, also beginning at 10 a.m. Council Week in Review can be seen Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m., on Saturday and Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Well, that concludes our program for the week ending March 21st, 2008. On behalf of Francisco Montano and everyone here at Channel 35, I'm Jack Popejoy. Thank you for watching, and please join us for the next Council Week in Review.
Hey, buddy.
Excuse me, sir. Ever hear of Navigate LA?
No?
How would you like to have access to maps, mailing lists, sewer connections, construction permits, neighborhood councils, and much more?
Sure.
Step right on in. Are you ready?
Sure, I guess.
Then welcome to Navigate LA.
Nice van.
By logging on to navigatela.lacity.org, you can have access to a wealth of information about your neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods. Imagine having the ability to see the construction taking place in your neighborhood.
Wow. It's like really being there.
Navigate LA gives you the start and completion date, cost, and contractor involved.
Nice.
You can even get a permit for your own building repairs, such as replacing a water heater or reconstructing your own driveway. Now, you also have the ability to learn what current and future street projects are going on in your neighborhood. There's a powerful mapping program which allows you to find a particular address or parcel number and get reports on that parcel, including zoning. You can even see what flood zones are in your neighborhood.
Oh, hey, can I look up some secret information about my neighbor Joe?
No, only public information pertaining to parcel and zoning data. You can also look up the unique infrastructure feature of the neighborhood. Here, you can select specific areas and see what city facilities are in those areas, such as fire stations, parks, and much more. You can also locate council districts, including neighborhood councils.
Well, I gotta say, I am impressed.
But wait, there's more.
More?
You can select a specific area and let Navigate LA generate a mailing list for people living in that area. Just think of the possibilities, especially for neighborhood councils. They can generate a mailing list of people living in their neighborhood.
Wow. Is there more?
Ever wonder where the sewer lines are located?
Constantly.
Well, wonder no more. Navigate LA can provide you with locations and specifics.
Wow, I am completely sold. So where can I go buy Navigate LA?
Silly average Joe. It's a free service provided to you by the City of Los Angeles and the Bureau of Engineering.
Are we finished?
For more information, log on to navigatela.lacity.org.
LA City View Channel 35. Your city, your channel.
49th Street Elementary School? Can you write it down with the name of their teacher and tell her to, yeah, I need that so I can announce it. I'm going to announce it in a minute.
Good morning again. Today is Friday, March 28th, the meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. We meet Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 o'clock. Friday, the first Friday of the month, we are in the Van Nuys City Hall for residents in the San Fernando Valley. It does take 10 members for a quorum. We are awaiting quorum, but we do encourage you, if you're unable to be here, to be able to go on our website, www.lacity.org, to be able to access this meeting, as well as also through council phone, to be able to hear and listen to the actions of the Los Angeles City Council. Thank you, council members Alarcon, Labange, Perry, and Zine. Ask that council members Cardenas, Hahn, Weisar, Parks, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss make their way down to the council chamber so we can have a quorum. With that, I'd like to introduce Ms. Perry for a special introduction.
No, I know. I can tell.
Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to recognize visitors today from 49th Street Elementary School and ask them to stand up so they can be seen on television with their teacher, Ms. Mason, their counselor, Ms. Casillas. This is the student council plus 5th grade students from 49th Street Elementary School. Why don't you guys wave your hands? Wave your hands. Give them a big hand. And thank you for coming in today. Okay. Let me go back and say hi to them.
Councilmember Alarcon. Friday is the day we normally have presentations, special presentations. I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember Alarcon for our first presentation this morning.
Well, I'm good with it. Let's be careful with that one.
However you want to do it.
Yeah. Eric isn't here today?
No, he's on a ship.
Okay. Okay.
It's on maneuvers or something.
Members, Madam President, members, this is one that all of us sort of have mixed feelings about doing. And any one of us could do it because we have such a long-standing relationship with our city clerk, Frank Martinez. For me, it goes even beyond the city of Los Angeles because we actually grew up in the same neighborhood. His mother still lived. She moved, right? But last time when I was, well, actually the first time I was running for campaign, she lived about a block and a half from my mother, who still lives over there on Wick Street. So it's a very special pleasure for me to make this presentation. Of course, Frank Martinez has been an outstanding city clerk for the city of Los Angeles. It's a very difficult job, particularly with the new imposition of rigorous scrutiny that has been imposed in the election process, new technology. Frank has had to tough it out through those trying times and has worked with reduced staffing to nevertheless protect the rights of the citizens to vote and to ensure that our election process has been well served. But for me, I think it actually goes back to Fernangeles. Fernangeles Elementary. I didn't go to school there, but I grew up there because in the after-school program, I simply was there every single day. My mother worked typically till 9 o'clock during the weekday, and so that's where I hung out. Well, so did Frank. We actually grew up there and at Byrd Middle School, which was just a few doors down from his house. And And I tell you, at the time, nobody would have ever expected either one of us to be in this building for so many years. But Frank, I said at his reception last night, Frank was very interesting in high school. Of course, I think all of us were. We all had long hair back then. He sort of had this biker mystique about him. But the interesting thing was that he was going through some tough times. His father was ill. He was forced into the workplace and worked, I believe, until midnight most nights during school. And I think that was where he developed his hard-working attitude. He took care of his family during that time, even as a teenager, and he's taken care of the city of Los Angeles in numerous capacities, starting on Valentine's Day, 1978. I think that's demonstrative, I think, of the love that he has for this city. He started off as a junior administrative assistant, grants management specialist, eventually worked for CDD, the Harbor Department, senior administrative assistant at the city clerk's office, went to general services as a senior management analyst too, then chief management analyst at the city clerk's office again, but back to general services where he was the assistant general manager. And when we created with all the technology advancement, when we created the technology agency, information technology agency, eventually Frank found his way there and became the assistant general manager there. But it was only a matter of time that Frank would rise to the level of general manager, and indeed he did that as city clerk on June 4th of the year 2000. He has been an absolutely dedicated city employee, and for me it's very special also because he conducted my wedding just several months ago, and we have a special friendship. But I have to tell you, he is the absolute epitome of quality civil service. He believes in the city of Los Angeles. He will not give up on it. He absolutely is a stickler to the rules. And any one of you who's had a conversation with him during an election cycle where your election was up knows that he will absolutely not deviate from the rules and is very careful. I pointed out that I even sued him in my last election, and so much for Fernangeles Elementary. He adhered to the law, and I prevailed on that one. But I learned about the quality of passion that he has and the integrity and ethical standards that he holds dear to his heart. His wife Maria also retired from the city of Los Angeles. They too now get to join each other, and as she was saying last night, she's really worried because he is so meticulous and so organized. She's worried that he might destroy things at home, but now that he has all this time. But frankly, I think he's going to have more time to ride his bike, to play his saxophone, to do the things he loves, to travel. Most importantly, when he was a hippie back in the 70s and the late 60s, I can tell you he was always, from my memory, carrying a book. Even with the chain that connected to his wallet, he had this book. And as I described, I know that the interesting thing was his book was probably Shakespeare and some of the great writers of America, where I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. And so he has become a great leader for Los Angeles, a quiet leader, one who it's better not to be heard from, because when he is heard from, it's usually because of a problem. But more importantly, when he did step forward into the spotlight, he did a great job in protecting the interests of the voters of Los Angeles. He leaves the city of Los Angeles just in time to place upon the city clerk's office the responsibility to manage the elections for the neighborhood council system, and I think he did that on purpose. Although he absolutely has every faith that the city clerk's office is going to manage that election process as it's never been managed in a proper way, and empower the people of Los Angeles to contribute more to the city of Los Angeles. As I said, he absolutely believes in the people of Los Angeles, and he believes that this is their government and he works for them. So it is with great honor and friendship that I present this certificate of recognition of Frank Martinez for his service to the city of Los Angeles. 30 years of service, and I would invite any one of you that wants to join Frank to step forward, but I know that you might have one or two comments about Frank, so we're going to let you make those comments. Before you do, let me present this. I'm really honored to present this 30-year pin to Frank. 30 years of service to the people of Los Angeles, to the city of Los Angeles, making our place a little bit better because of the tremendous work that he has done. We're proud of him. I'm proud of him as a fellow citizen from the community of Sun Valley. Not too many of us emerged with the kind of talent that Frank has demonstrated, but it's a tribute to his tenacity, to his dedication, to his service to our community. With that, it's my pleasure to present this pin to Frank Martinez.
Mr. Reyes. Mr. Reyes. Followed by Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Council President Zine. That sounds good. Frank, I just want to say thank you so much for your hard work. You've been that one person in that moment we know we had either won or lost the election. You're the first person there. So you're etched in our minds forever. But I also know that you have demonstrated that leadership that is very quiet, very subtle, but you get it done. When you're at the horseshoe, you're very firm, you're very direct, you stick to the facts, and you lead by example. For that, I thank you. But I also want to thank you because between you and Maria have been an amazing contribution to the city. Colleagues, you should know that Maria, working with CDD, has done a tremendous impact in an area called Cypress Park and many neighborhoods throughout the city. But she is the reason why our old fire station is the community center that dealt with the issues of violence we had there. So between Frank and Maria, you're the dynamic duo. I don't know if people understand what a difference you made for this city. And it comes from the heart because you believe in our communities. And that's something that I believe the citizenry of this great city will have a hard time grasping because you dedicated your lives to the city. So I want to say enjoy your golden years. I can see you out in the horizon tooting your horn, just generating those soothing notes as you mellow out from all the tension that's built up over these 30 years. And it's been for all the great reasons. So Frank, congratulations. Maria, gracias for everything. And to your family and your friends and your staff. These are big footsteps to follow, but we have a lot of faith in your department. Continue the good work. You're all the unsung heroes. Thank you very much.
Ms. Hahn, Janice Hahn. Janice. Followed by Mr. Smith and then Mr. Labange.
Thank you very much. Well, I just really wanted to stand up and tell you that I think you have been an incredibly innovative, smart, out-of-the-box thinker as our city clerk. And I particularly want to thank you for really being willing to have the city clerk's office take on the elections of the neighborhood councils in the city of Los Angeles. That really is a daunting procedure. You probably decided to take it on when you knew you weren't going to be here anymore. But, and when there were so many issues with the neighborhood council elections, I said, wait a minute, we have a city clerk. We have the city clerk's office who, they do elections. They know how to do this. They do this well. I thought it made a lot of sense. And I really appreciated the fact that you really looked at it, you studied it, you said, absolutely, we can do it, and this is how we're going to do it. And I really appreciate that. I think that will make a huge difference, frankly. One of the key things that I think will empower our neighborhood councils to move beyond their elections and get to the business of actually having their voices heard in the city of Los Angeles. I'm also happy that you met the challenges of the idea of participating in elections in the city of Los Angeles. You came up with some great ideas about mail-in ballots, instant runoffs. I also like the fact that you took my idea about why don't we have, we might need state legislation for this, but why don't we have the ability for people to choose their civic duty? We just do jury duty. Why not give people an opportunity to work a day in their polling places as part of their civic duty? You actually wrote a whole report on that. And so I appreciate the fact that you really took our suggestions. You looked at ultimately how do we empower people in the process of elections in our cities and in our neighborhood councils. And we're going to miss you a lot. And by the way, I was extremely moved with the way you conducted the wedding of Richard. I couldn't believe that was you up there marrying them. I didn't know you did that on the side. But it was a very thoughtful, moving, and I think for everybody in the audience that night, they were very moved by your choice of words and what you said for the marriage ceremony. So we will miss you a lot, Frank. You've done a really great job. You're one of those that I really want to say hats off and salute to you.
Mr. Smith. Councilmember Smith, followed by Mr. Labange, Mr. Parks, Mr. Weisar, and Ms. Perry.
Ms. Perry just pointed out, this is nice that this is the first employee we've seen in about a month that isn't going to work for Bill Fujioka at the county. So, congratulations. I just wanted to stand and say thank you to you for years of service. And the fact that you run the department that makes those certificates is indicative of that. It's the largest retirement certificate I've ever seen. That's appropriate. But, you know, Frank, over the years, I don't think anyone of us ever questioned the integrity of your department for an instant. That we always knew that our election system was run well, that all the things the clerk does and bids and everything were run appropriately, that it was always run with great integrity and in great pride. And more importantly, I always consider you just like a friend. You'd come down here and we'd talk as friends and colleagues, not as employee-employee relationship. And I enjoyed that so much working with you. But what was amazing as a member of the Budget Committee, over the years, we constantly said to Frank, what does your department need? And he'd say, nothing, we're okay. And we go, you sure? And he said, we're fine. And we'd add more things to do all the time, and Frank never asked for a thing. And I got 42 departments that never do that. So we looked at you and said a couple of years ago, Frank, you're going to take more money whether you like it or not. We're going to give you more whether you like it or not, because you did such a great job and never ever complained and just did what we were asked to do and never complained about it, just went and did it with great integrity and great expertise. And the entire staff back there, you're just an awesome staff. We enjoy working with all of you. But we're going to miss you, Frank, because you were one of us. You were a friend, a colleague, and a great leader of a department that just always does its job to perfection in the way we expect our employees to act. And so to all of you, the city clerk, thank you for what you do, and Frank, for your leadership in that department for all those years. Thank you for what you've done to make that department just a high-flying department of great integrity and pride. Good luck in your retirement. I hope you'll come back and talk to us once in a while about how we keep the election system going in neighborhood councils. That's important. Thank you. God bless.
Mr. Labange.
Thank you very much. What a great evening it was last night. The tower was filled with people who came to salute Frank Martinez. For all the years of service, 30 years, the fact you grew up in Los Angeles, the fact you went to Poly High, the fact that you self-taught musician, which is so important because I think there's a little diversity in all our roles that are so important. But looking behind you, all those people who love you, except the creative service people, because they're downstairs working, making the greatest certificates in any government has. I want to shout out to the city clerk's office and the creative services people who do the wonderful job, Frank, because documents are important. And these city clerks who sit up here through these meetings, who do the job, Sheridan, Ann, and all of them, they keep the balance going. So I want to thank you and wish your family another great chapter in life. I speak, last night I tell everybody, the late great Tom Bradley, the late great John Farrell never got that fourth and fifth chapter. They worked real hard for the city, so hard, but you're going to get a fourth and fifth chapter, God willing, and enjoy that beautiful family of yours and see the city like you never saw it before. Congratulations, Frank Martinez, for the great service to Los Angeles.
Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. Frank, it's been a great run for you. I think one of the things that I was trying to think this morning, that we think about you as a clerk like you've been there all along, But I think we also have to remember you did Y2K. And with all the work you did, it was kind of interesting. The following Monday after Y2K, the Los Angeles Times, which is one of our more credible sources of news, said, why did you spend all the time and energy because nothing happened? They forgot that you had planned all these things for 18 months to 2 years to make sure nothing happened, but that was the way they analyzed it. Our closest working relationship was with the Democratic National Convention, and I think when Richard Riordan was in office, anything that was going haywire, they said, give that to Frank. And so he came out with Y2K. Right after that, he went into the Democratic National Convention, and then right after that, he's in the city clerk's office. So I'm just pleased that you've had that significant career, and now you get a chance to relax. Some of you, I think city employees are smart enough to know to retire for good. Others just keep working and finding other jobs. But these are things that are important for you and your family, and we certainly are a better city because of your participation and the fact that you've handled so many critical tasks. And I was told yesterday that you have our council tracking system well in play before you left, so that we'll be able to, as a council, be able to track our issues rather than do it manually, that we've been doing it. And I think the other issue is your office played a major role in our current ability to go online and track and be able to see council meetings over the computer, where you can plug in and only look at that item you're interested in. So you've done a wonderful job of creating and being able to give us the tools that are necessary. So congratulations to your family. Thank you for sharing, Frank, for all these years. And if you're like my wife, in about a week you'll tell him to go get a job. And so, but congratulations to you.
Mr. Huizar, followed by Ms. Perry, Mr. Rosendahl, Mr. Cardenas.
Well, congratulations, Frank, and I will certainly miss you. You are someone who, when you come up across in these hallways or anywhere in this building, you just bring a smile to people's faces. You're a warm person, and I'm certainly going to miss you not only as a human being and the friendship we've developed, but also in the great work you've done here. And you leave behind a well-trained staff, people who I always wonder, I ask, who does this? Who's responsible for this? Surprised to hear a lot of times people say the city clerk. You certainly have a huge responsibility. You and your staff are doing a marvelous job. It was interesting. This past week, I was looking through some old photos of mine, and I came across a photo when I was sworn in as a school board member back in 2001, and you were there swearing me in for that, and it brought a lot of emotion to me, not only because that's where I got sworn into the school board, but also because after that, I realized that you were part of a very significant points in my life, as I got sworn in a couple of more times after that. So, bon voyage, but I know we will continue to see you. Certainly I will. One of my staff members will soon marry your nephew, Raul, so I know you're going to be part of the CD14 family. And I'm going to miss you, Frank. We're all going to miss you. And thank you for your service to this city for 30 years. You've been a voice of reason, of calm. Everyone else may be going nuts around you, but you've always been calm to get the job done. And that's a very important trait that you've shown us all. Thank you so much.
Ms. Perry.
Frank, one of the reasons that I respect you so much in representing an area where oftentimes we are overlooked on election day and things go wrong and people's rights are not necessarily respected. You always upheld the integrity of the voting process. You were always very well attuned to the rights of the people in South Los Angeles to cast their vote and to make sure that their ballot actually made it in and was counted in a process that is extremely clear, very transparent, and even when there were glitches, you were so extremely responsible that it makes me proud that you were able to serve us as long as you chose to serve, and if you wanted to stay longer, you could. And yeah, I think I said to you last night, stay away from Bill Fujioka, okay? Well, it's true, I have to say it, but the fact that you protected the rights of the people that we represent is something that I will never, ever forget, and respect you so much for doing this, and I just want to say publicly how much gratitude I have for that, because, other areas don't realize how hard it is to cast a vote and to make sure that it gets counted. but I think you understood and you respected people and demonstrated that respect through your highest of high professionalism. Thank you.
Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Rosendahl?
Thank you, Madam President. Frank, I've known you in many of your incarnations and reincarnations in your other situations, and you were extremely helpful to me with my television show days, and we got to bond over that when I was out there, not in here. And then I knew what I had met. I had met a person that was totally dedicated to the city, a true public servant, a person who knew how to treat people right, how to get people motivated, how to keep people positive. You're honest, you have integrity, and you follow through. Then you become the elections guy, which of course is something very dear to my heart as well. As you know, all the election specials I would do over and over and over, because this city's television does not do justice, frankly, to the electoral process. But you were always there assisting me with this. The only thing I can say is it's sad to see you go, because you're one of the real pillars that have made this city great. But wherever you go, God bless you, and thank you for serving us all. Thank you.
Mr. Cardenas.
Frank, you make a very difficult job look easy. And I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you've done. We honestly thought you were going to be here for a lot longer. What the heck happened, man? I guess you're smarter than the rest of us. You decided to go out on your terms and with plenty of time to maybe start it. Wait a minute. Is this another Bill Fujioka thing? Probably, huh? I bet. He says no. They all say no. Till they start calling you and bugging you every time of the day. Well, anyway, the county would be very fortunate to have you if, in fact, they manage to get you. I wouldn't put it past them. They're still in all of our good folks. But it's a compliment to you, Frank, and one of the things that makes me very, very proud is the fact that, you grew up there in the San Fernando Valley, you started working for the city, and here you are doing one of the most difficult jobs, one of the heaviest responsibilities that goes unnoticed and unappreciated. But those of us who have actually been able to work with you and to see how smoothly you run it and how good your entire crew is, I just want to say thank you for your leadership and thank you for all the work that you've done for us. And in addition to that, I think Richard's going to miss you because he always brags about the fact that you guys went to school together at Poly High School. So I don't know if the next person is going to be from Poly High School, but I'm sure Richard's going to miss being able to identify that you guys were buds in high school and you guys had your long hair and all that stuff. Look at you now. I kid you, Frank, because I really respect you. I love the work that you do. I consider you a friend, and God bless you, and I hope you enjoy your years of retirement or your few months before Bill takes you. Take care.
Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Madam President. Frank, I was there last evening up in the tower. Your friends, your colleagues, all acknowledging your departure from the city after this long, long career. I just want to offer my congratulations once again to you. I know that you're going to be going to South America. You're going to grow that beard out. You're going to get on that motorcycle. I showed that photograph that we don't want to show to the public once again. Your past life behind bars at the Gray Bar Hotel. But Frank, you have done tremendous work for the city of Los Angeles, and I know you're going to enjoy retirement. Well deserved. And I said last night is that your department that gets things done in such a smooth, efficient fashion. When people look on the website, when they look at the agendas, when they look at the process, it's been seamless, and it's because of your leadership that it's been done. So congratulations to you and your lovely family. And the staff is there acknowledging your departure, and most of them, if not all, want you to stay. But like Alvin Blaine, who's behind me, general manager, is also retiring. And he said he wanted to come here to make sure you were leaving because he doesn't want to leave by himself. So the two of you, wonderful general managers of departments that keep the city moving, a well-deserved retirement. God bless you and your family, and happy years ahead.
Thank you.
Frank, just want to say congratulations. We had a chance to speak before and know that last night there were so many people there who supported you. I'm missing that picture, so I think Dennis is going to have to share with us. But a lot has been said about your integrity, about your commitment to the city, about the fact that we have never had any controversy really about the operations of your department. And they work with us on a variety of levels, not only elections, but sitting here, making sure we run smoothly, making sure that our committees work smoothly. And I know that the people behind you, I did ask them if they were going to miss you and whether you could stay, and I think they would all love to have you stay. We're excited about Karen, but I think you have been a tremendous asset, and when you told us many months ago, I think, well, I guess Bill had already left, so maybe he'd whispered in your ear, but you've been a great asset to the city of Los Angeles and really have made us proud. So congratulations on your retirement, and you get to have the last word.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you all for the kind words and for Richard's handling the presentation. I appreciate it very much. I'd like my two daughters to come up as well. And let me just introduce my family members. They're here. My younger daughter, Jessica, my daughter, Katinka, my wife, Maria, my brother, Bobby, who's really the smart one, is a math professor at Pierce College. Also, my grandnephew, Carlos, his mother, Irma, and her husband, Joe, are all here to help me celebrate this. So with that, let me just very briefly, 30 years, when you say it like that, on one hand a lifetime, the other hand really a blink of an eye. And in my time here, I've seen many things, the good, the bad, and the downright humorous. And but I've enjoyed it all, enjoyed working for the city and serving the people of Los Angeles with all of you. And let me publicly thank the fine, outstanding men and women of the city clerk's office. Day in and day out, do a great job for all of you and the people of Los Angeles. And let me thank our partners, city attorney's office, city administrative office, the chief legislative analyst's office, all of them doing great work as we partner to do the work of the city. So without a long speech, I'm looking forward to my next chapter in life and have a lot of things planned. I do not plan to work for the county of Los Angeles. That's on the record here. So, what?
Famous last word.
Famous last words. She said, no, that's on the record. So, again, thank you all very much, and I look forward to a great retirement, and I wish you all the best in serving the people of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Mr. Alarcon has asked if maybe we can have a group shot with Frank Martinez.
Group shot right here, up behind there. Up there.
I'd now like to introduce Councilmember Ed Reyes for our next presentation, for a very special presentation.
Oh my gosh. Look at all these luminaries.
They all like to talk, right?
I'm not going to... Okay.
Is it good?
All right. Are we almost ready, Madam President? Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is one of those great days that each one of us has a memory about Dodger Stadium. It could be the first time you got there, the last time that World Championship game, but we all have a fond memory, and it's become part of this great history of this great city. The Dodgers moved to Los Angeles from Brooklyn, New York in 1958. They played their first game at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on April 18th, 1958, with 78,672 fans in attendance. And I understand we might double that this time around. But today is a day of celebrating keystone moments in our city's history. And it is those moments that allows us to have such great luminaries here today. We have our Congressmember, Javier Becerra, who's joining us. Welcome, sir. We have our Senator, Lily Thomas. Welcome, sir. Our Assembly Member, Kevin De Leon. And of course, the leadership, Frank and Jamie McCourt. Come on, folks, clap louder. They're luminaries, different jurisdictions. We work with them, we make laws. We raise money. Never mind. Okay. But the fact is, this is the type of civic pride that we get to celebrate. And it's the Dodgers that brings that type of energy, that focus to this great city. On those championship days, you rarely see cars out on the street. You see everyone gathering, cheering on our great Dodgers. And it's the kind of organization that has great leaders. And in this franchise, our leadership is the McCourt family, spearheaded by Jamie and Frank. They have been an incredible asset to our city. In my opinion, the most important contribution to the city won't be the World Series championship that we know we're going to have. Right, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
On the record.
But it's their commitment to Los Angeles Dodgers Dream Foundation. The foundation was founded to provide educational, athletic, and recreational opportunities for the underserved youth of the greater Los Angeles community. Under the McCourt's leadership, the Dodgers and the Dream Foundation has helped approximately 1,580 families throughout the greater LA community with a children's holiday party, a turkey ham and dinner giveaways. The Dodgers, through the foundation, have worked with the Department of Recreation and Parks to build 8 Dodger Dream Fields for our youth in Los Angeles. That's 8 ballparks. All the great work with the Dodgers that they do for our local community truly makes them the Dodgers, the heart of Los Angeles. So I want to thank the McCourts and present this certificate signed by all of my colleagues here. Thank you for our mayor. And this is going to cover a wall.
My office.
But it's signed by our city attorney, Rocky Delgadillo, our city controller, Laura Chick, our retiring city clerk, Frank Martinez, and our mayor. So thank you all, and I'd like to ask the McCourts to speak, then I'll ask our dignitaries to follow. But let's...
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. And before we let the Dodgers speak, we do have a couple council members who would like to say something. Council members Hahn, Zine, and LaBonge.
Well, it's great to have all of you in council chambers today. It's always great to see Frank and Jamie McCourt here. We're very excited about this season. of our great Dodgers, and I am so disappointed because I'm not going to be able to be there Saturday night for the exhibition game in the Coliseum. I'm up in San Jose at the Democrat State Convention. But 50 years ago, obviously I have to tell the story, that when my dad was working with Walter O'Malley and bringing them out here to Los Angeles, we did not have a place for them to play yet. And my dad said, can you play baseball in the Coliseum? And most people said, no, you can't play baseball in the Coliseum. His good friend, Johnny Scalinas, who was the Pepperdine baseball coach, they went out there one night. I think my dad got the lights turned on at night. They went out there. He measured the field and gave my dad the thumbs up sign. Yes, you can play regulation baseball in the Coliseum. And then, of course, my brother was the first honorary bat boy at that game. So he's going to be there Saturday night. So it's going to be great, obviously meaningful for my family to see this tradition now 50 years old. And we wish you all the best. And we really do thank you for these dream fields. You've built 8. That is so important to so many kids in this city. I'm hoping there'll be a 9th one built at Rosecrans, Howard Sunken, a dream field that all those kids would love to have one there too. I know it's been in the works, and we'd sure love to have that happen. But thank you for all you do for the kids of Los Angeles, and thank you for giving every boy and girl a dream, hopefully on their own field, but really with the Dodgers. So congratulations to both of you. Thanks for all you do. You especially, Jamie.
Thank you. Councilmember Zine.
Thank you, Madam President. I put my hat on for the Dodgers. Normally they say take your hat off, put the hat on. When I was a youngster, I remember going to the Coliseum for the baseball, Dodger baseball. I remember that as a young person with my dad, going down there on the bus down Western Avenue, down to Figueroa. So I remember that. So it's going to bring back great memories this Saturday, going back to the Coliseum to see Dodger baseball. And I want to also acknowledge that there was some speculation that when you folks came to Los Angeles, were you really committed to baseball? And I will tell you, when I go to the Dodger games, I see you folks down there. Jamie and Frank, I see you down there watching, biting your nails, saying, let's win this game, let's win this game. And then behind you at Howard Sunken to make sure that they do the right thing. So I want to acknowledge that there may be some skeptics. You are committed to baseball in Los Angeles. You attend the games, and I've seen you there. And Howard, you're a great ambassador for the Dodgers here with the people of Los Angeles, in particular City Council. So I will be there along with 100,000 people. And then opening day that occurs next week. But you folks committed to Los Angeles baseball, Dodgers baseball. I just want to acknowledge you. And Frank, I know that your activities, when I asked you to come to the Jewish home for a presentation, you were there for that early morning breakfast. So you folks have reached out throughout Los Angeles. You are a part of Los Angeles. You left that clam chowder behind you in Boston, and you're out here in L.A. Enjoying the environment and being a part of this community. So I want to acknowledge and thank you, and keep up the good work in World Series for the Dodgers. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Mr. LaBonge.
Thank you very much. Frank and Jamie, I just wanted to say, I'm not going to throw it. I know Frank could catch it. I don't want to hurt Jamie's beautiful hands.
Jamie could catch it. I'm Jamie, guys.
There we go, just like that. All right. Hey, 50 years. 50 years. And Ed Reyes, congratulations for what you've done as the district representative and the community improvements around there. I would love a dream field, but put dream fields all over this city, because baseball is a great game to play, and that's where the young people should be, like I was. I'm fortunate my son plays Little League in Toluca Lake, and he loves to get dirty. He loves to slide and get that dirt and have that fun and meet other fellas, other girls, and that's what baseball's all about. But the Dodgers are all about that for 50 years, and they give another hand for the late, great Kenneth Hahn and all the work that he did to bring the Dodgers here. Roz Wyman, the youngest woman ever elected to the council, who often frequents his chambers. The history is so great. Tomorrow night at the Coliseum, what a great idea. And I think a man right over there had that idea. I think there, Mark Ridley Thomas. Give Mark a little hand for that idea right there that helped put it together. It's going to be wonderful. And I hope people look back at the history of the Dodgers this time. Even prior to that, with Jackie Robinson, who came from Pasadena, John Miro High, and his brother Mac, who ran in the 36 Olympic Games. and Jackie when he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then when the Dodgers came out here, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb, all the players. Junior Gilliam was my favorite there until Willie Davis came along. And I love Willie because he was from Roosevelt High School, still holds the city long jump record there. And I was selling newspapers in Los Angeles when you signed Willie Crawford for $100,000, bonus baby. I didn't know what bonus baby meant, but I found out afterwards. That was Willie Crawford. All the history, from the Says to the Garveys to the present-day players, has really been special. And I just want to salute you and the Los Angeles Dodgers, the McCord family, who's keeping the tradition of being of an involved ownership here in the city of Los Angeles, which is so important. And also want to give a shout-out for what has always been the constant, is the great voice of Vin Scully. Because now with my son Charles, who's 10, we listen to there's some fans of Vin Scully right down there. We listen to Vin Scully, and no matter where you are, in the sound of his voice, you're right at home with the Los Angeles Dodgers. A big hand for the Los Angeles Dodgers in their 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Mr. Smith.
Well, thank you. I'm one of those very lucky young boys that in 1958 was at the opening game at the Coliseum. My dad had season tickets. I was there. I'll never forget those first teams. My hero in life, Duke Snider and Charlie Neal and Jim Gilliam, all those people, Don Demeter, Wally Moon. They were an incredible thing. But what they presaged for Los Angeles was the emergence of Los Angeles as a national city, that we were no longer just the West Coast that no one paid attention to, that when the Dodgers came here, Los Angeles became the place to be. And it really presses the growth of Los Angeles to the truly international city we are today. And so the Dodgers have played an integral part in our lifeblood in this town for a very, very long time. And so I'm very pleased to congratulate you on 50 years, but more importantly, I want to congratulate you because when the Dodgers came here, the O'Malley family moved into the importance of the lifestyle of Los Angeles and got involved in everything. They became part of Los Angeles. It wasn't just a baseball team on the hill, it was a family that participated in every level of Los Angeles. And we lost that for a few years. And when the McCourts came here, Jamie and Frank, you guys picked up that and made Los Angeles Dodgers once again part of Los Angeles living, part of everybody's experience in living in L.A. And I want to thank you for doing what the O'Malleys did when they came here and making the Dodgers part of our lifestyle and part of our city once again. Congratulations to you and what you've done to the Dodgers. I think we're all excited about this year, not because it's 50 years, but we're looking at a great new team with great potential. And Frank and Jamie, you've brought that back to L.A. So thank you for that. And thank you for hiring our good friend Howard, who is doing all those great community charity jobs out there to put the Dodgers name in the communities where all of us live. And so I'm excited to go back and see 50 years behind that big fence out there where I started off as a little boy. I wish Wally Moon was out there to throw me a ball or something, but just to see you back in the Coliseum one time is the most exciting thing that's happened in this town in a long time. And so thank you for that great idea. Thank you for making the Dodgers once again an important part of our community. And God bless you. And I hope you stay here for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Councilmember Parks, followed by Councilmember Councilmember Rosendahl, Cardenas, and then Weeser. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers for their 50 years, having been in Los Angeles when they arrived and just a mere child, but had an opportunity, and I think the first World Series game I ever went to was in the Coliseum against the White Sox. I still have the burn on my back from sitting against the rim on the top seat there. But I was so far away that the people looked miniature. But the atmosphere of being there and following the Dodgers and some local people like Charlie Neal playing, and also the people we had read about for so many years, Duke Snider, Gil Hodges, and those people were like gods in the city of Los Angeles because you'd read about them for years. And we were unfortunate that Roy Campanella never played in Los Angeles, was injured before getting here. But when you had the golden years of Drysdale and also Koufax, and I think one year, what did they do? Held out for $100,000. I'm sure, Mr. McCourt, you'd love people to hold out for $100,000 now. But that may be their lunch money today. But it is something that they have been fundamentally part of the history of Los Angeles. When I was growing up, not fortunate enough to have a television, sometimes radio and Vin Scully was the way you followed the Dodgers, whether they were in the World Series or whether Koufax was striking out a record number of people or Drysdale was shedding people out. these are the kinds of things that you remember each and every day. And although it was wonderful to see the brand new stadium built, the community certainly felt a loss by not having them at the Coliseum. Although it was built as a temporary stadium, everybody thought it should be a permanent facility because the community just embraced the location. And for a number of us that was growing up, it was a form of revenue because we used to park the cars when people came to the game, sometime on other people's lawns, but it was a minor miscalculation. But the issue was it was a whole community activity that we dealt with. But you have picked up that legacy, and we're just pleased that you've continued it, and certainly we'll see you this weekend at the game. I think you're going to set a record, 120,000 people at a game. That is phenomenal, particularly in light of all of the stats you keep accumulating as it relates to your attendance annually. And I believe you just broke the record of any sports team in the world in the number of people who have attended. So congratulations. Keep up the good work. And Mr. McCourt, I told you when you first got here, what was that? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Because at first people were giving you all of the rough times about what you were doing and what you weren't doing, and it's a marathon. And you certainly are in that marathon and done a good job. So thank you very much.
Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Rosendahl?
Thank you, Madam President. Take me back to a ball game. No. I grew up in New Jersey, and we had the Brooklyn Dodgers, you know. And until I was 13 years old, it was the Brooklyn Dodgers, and that was a great thing. So I had to move all the way to Los Angeles to stay close to the Dodgers. Congratulations on your 50th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cardenas.
Thank you. Congratulations on your 50-year anniversary of the Dodgers. But I think it's very fitting today where it's Woman of the Year. I want to talk to you, Jamie, if you don't mind. When you were a little girl, what did you say about baseball, and what was going to be your involvement in baseball someday?
That I would buy a baseball team.
But say that a little louder. I don't think people understood you. Say it again. How old were you?
9.
You were 9 years old, and you said, someday I'm going to buy a baseball team. And Jamie McCourt, you bought a baseball team, along with your husband. I'll give you some credit, too. But honestly, you didn't, Frank, you didn't say you were going to buy a baseball team either, right? I mean, when you were a little boy. That came later, that realization. Right. But here we are in what they call a man's sport or what have you. And you prove, Jamie, that when you focus on something, when you want something and you work toward it and you deserve it, you get it and you're smiling about it. It was a wonderful thing that you did for Los Angeles by taking your heart and putting it into the Dodgers. And I just wanted to remind all the little girls who are here today and all the women that that is the kind of determination, and that in this country you can do anything you want. You can even buy a baseball team, little girl. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Weissar.
Just want to congratulate you on 50 wonderful years, and also thank you, Frank and Jamie, for taking the Dodgers to a new level. There's so many memories, as you can see, from all of us who have shared them, and so many more memories to come. But it's great that you have not only continued that legacy in Los Angeles, but you've made it inclusive of everyone in Los Angeles to make sure that all Angelinos can participate in America's great pastime. And we look forward to continue as a city to partner with you to not only perhaps do more games at the Coliseum and get more creative on what we can do, but to make sure that Dodger Stadium, the Dodger Blue that lives there, continues to move up in the ranks as the third winningest franchise in the major leagues. Let's see if we could move up a little, 2 more slots at least. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Alarcon.
I remember when a different owner took over after the O'Malleys, and I went to opening day, and we, as council back in the 90s, had an opportunity to meet that owner. And I having played baseball and actually softball when I was 6 years old, and then every day, or until I was 27, played organized baseball of some kind. So I'm a huge fan of baseball. And I told this owner I thought it was a brilliant move to take the right fielder and move him to center field. I won't mention who it was, but and he looked at me and he said, and we expect to make a lot of money too. And so I think that the McCourts were exactly what the Dodgers needed. Not only will you make it economically viable, but you're driven for the right reasons, because you love baseball, and that is going to make the difference on the field. And so I congratulate you, I applaud you for the work to date, but I know that the best days of the Dodgers under your ownership are yet to come, and because of the passion that you have for baseball itself. So congratulations on representing the 50th anniversary. I'm one of those who went to the Coliseum with my dad when I was about 4 years old, and saw the Wally Moons and the Sandy Koufaxes and Don Drysdale and all the greats, and I'm very proud that they now have owners who care about baseball and will make Dodgers champions once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Parks, you had pressed your button again.
We have a special guest. Let me ask Mayor Hahn to come up. And, come up.
Jim.
Members of the council, McCourts, glad that you're here. I heard my sister already told the story about me being the first honorary Dodger bat boy there on opening day at the Coliseum. And we're looking forward to that great event, and we really want to thank Frank and Jamie McCourt for being such great owners and thinking of how to celebrate this 50th anniversary with having that game. And as I was telling Councilman Parks on the way in, he said, "Yo, you should come up and say something." I said, "I was listening on City Phone as I was driving in. I think everything that's been said has been said." He said, "Yes, but it hasn't been said by you yet." So, Tom LaBonge, I love listening to your memories as well, and Greg Smith, you were at that game. And I remember the neatest thing about that game, I just learned how to play baseball, and it was real important that you touch all the bases when you go around or you'd be out. And I never thought I'd see it in my first game, but that's how the Dodgers won their first game at the Coliseum in April of 1958. The Giant coming around third base, missed third base. Dick Gray called for the ball. They threw it to him. Out. Umpire called him out, and the Dodgers won 6-5. And we've never looked back since. We're so thankful the Dodgers have been here for 50 years, and we want you to stay for another 50. Thank you.
And just before we have Jamie and Frank speak, I just wanted to add my congratulations. And Jamie, I think you could have caught that ball. Frank did okay, but you would have done really well catching that ball. But the McCourts have become part of our social and civic fabric of our city here in Los Angeles. And you have brought back that family atmosphere to the Dodgers that I grew up with. I think I mentioned to you I have a Dodger bonnet that I have kept since I was 4 years old. And it still fits my head, believe it or not. But I learned from my father, who used to yell at the umpires, "Throw the bum out." And I had lots of looks when I was 4 years old screaming that with the neighbors. But I have enjoyed going to Dodger games for not as long as some of my colleagues, because I'm a little younger than them. But it's been a great part of our city, and you have made it an even better part of our city because of your presence. And we are working with CD1 and CD13 and with your wonderful representative who's paid us all to say nice things about him today. But we're working on getting public transportation access up to the Dodgers. So we know that's very important. So with that, we welcome you. Congratulations, and it's your opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Where can we start? I mean, the most important thing that I do want to tell everyone is how much we love LA, and people who know me know how lucky we are to be here, what a privilege it is, and that's even before baseball. I was lucky enough to see it through the eyes of my children, some of whom came here still at school age, and the warmth and the generosity and the inclusiveness of all Angelinos was really unprecedented. I had never seen it before. It is the 50th anniversary, and it's the 50th anniversary of memories that so many people have, and the launch of 50 more years, we hope, of memories to come for all of our children. and the children's children. And I think the one thing that's most important to me and my family is the commitment to the communities, the commitment to the fans, who are really the real MVPs, no matter who gets to the Hall of Fame, because we couldn't do this without them. And they're truly our support. They really are. We're totally committed to increasing and expanding our involvement. And Janice, wherever you are, the one thing that I shouldn't be telling you now, but it is part of our 50th unveiling, is that we're committed to building 50 dream fields over time. Right. Sign up. And in closing, I just want to tell everyone, you certainly have my heart in LA. Baseball will do anything for it. It's the connection between generations. It's the time we spend together as families. You know, who could believe that 3 hours together can create a lifetime of memories? And that's what it's all about. Those are the memories I have with my dad and keeping score, just like all of you. So at the end of the day, diamonds really are a girl's best friend. And thank you for everything.
Thank you all very much. I can't help but reflect on being in this room with you all 4 years ago, and we were so grateful for the warm welcome we received then, and equally grateful this morning. First, as a piece of business, we all have a story about a baseball with somebody's signature on it that we went out in the backyard and played with, and we lost the ball. So, Tom, this one has Don Newcombe's signature on it. You don't want to lose this one, all right? Okay. You know, several times people have mentioned that we're the owners of the Dodgers, and we're really not the owners. We're the stewards. And we're truly humbled here today as we reflect and recognize that this is more than a baseball team. And whether we're representing the city, the county, the state, or even this great country, as we did when we played the first Major League Baseball games ever in China recently, we know that this is a civic asset, a civic treasure. As we reflect on the 50 years, we also recognize, Jamie and I and our family, that we're riding on the shoulders of those before us, especially the O'Malley family, and acknowledge their great role in bringing the team here and creating so many memories during the past 50 years. This year is one big celebration, one big thank you to the fans for their support and loyalty over the 50 years. But we also should remember that Monday, at about 1:10 when the first pitch is thrown, we start the next 50 years. So whether it's moving from Dodger Town after over 50 years, coming over closer to our fans so that they can enjoy spring training, or investing heavily in Dodger Stadium so it will continue to be the finest venue in baseball for the next 50 years, or launching our new official charity, Think Cure, which is designed to raise funds to find a cure for cancer, which is a dream that we all have for the next 50 years. So, as Jamie said, it's 50-50. And so 42 is a very important number in Dodger history. Jackie Robinson's number. Again, the Dodgers breaking that color barrier, changing the course of this entire country. So 42 more dream fields. 42 plus 8 is 50. Thank you all very, very much.
I'd like to invite our next guest. Congressman Becerra is one of those warriors over in Washington, D.C. And you need to appreciate this quote in ESPN magazine this month. He states, "I think Southern California will have some good baseball to watch in both leagues, but the Los Angeles Dodgers will do better. The day that Anaheim pays LA city taxes, I'll consider them as well." Congressman Becerra.
Madam President, and to all the council members of the City of Los Angeles, I say thank you for this opportunity to be here. We all know of the storied history of the Dodgers, whether it's Koufax or Fernando Mania, Kurt Gibson's shot heard round the world, or today's team, or the voices, Vin Scully and Jaime Jarin, who have been the voices for the Dodgers for decades, we all know what it means to have a great team in Los Angeles. But I think most of us are here principally because we know that the Dodgers have taken the field when it comes to being community partners with the people of Los Angeles. They have truly struck up a partnership with our folks. As we try to provide them services, so do they. And you've heard them already, but I will mention one that has not yet been mentioned. For over a decade, the Dodgers have held at their site, and thanks to Jamie and Frank McCourt, a site for folks who are looking for work. We do a job fair at Dodger Stadium every year. Thousands come and thousands go home with a job. And it's because Jamie and Frank McCourt open up the doors to Dodger Stadium for more than just a baseball game, but for bright futures and dreams as well. And so whether it's bleeding Dodger blue, dreaming Dodger blue, or praying to the big Dodger in the sky, we want to make sure that today's team does us proud. But more importantly, we know that the entire team, from Howard Sunken and all the great management staff that Jamie and Frank have assembled, to the owners who are the ones that make the team tick, we want to say to them, we understand what your commitment is to the team, but we understand more importantly, what your commitment is to the team of Los Angeles residents who want to see us win on the field, but win in life. And you have done that tremendously throughout your career here as the owners of the Dodgers, and we thank you very much. And on behalf of my colleagues from the House of Representatives, whether from New York or San Francisco, from throughout the country, we want to send to you our greetings, our congratulations for 50 years, and I say that understanding that I celebrated my 50 years today, this past January as well. We want to say to you, thank you for giving us great memories, but more importantly, for being a team player with this country. You deserve the accolades, and from now on, forever in the history of this country, through this congressional record, your efforts will be remembered for other Americans to see in the future. Congratulations.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you.
Congressional record.
Our next speaker, Senator Ridley Thomas. I asked him, don't you miss these sessions in 12 years in the council? I won't tell you what he said. Senator Ridley Thomas.
Well, thank you, Councilman Reyes. Madam President, members of the Council, I'm simply delighted to be here to lend my voice to the rather extraordinary contribution that both Jamie and Frank McCourt have made to the quality of life, the civic life of Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles, the region we know as Los Angeles. It seems to me that if you think about their contribution, there's great reason to celebrate. They have distinguished themselves as corporate citizens. They have distinguished themselves as persons who care about the quality of life in our communities. They have distinguished themselves as persons who are not shy about engaging issues, whether it be a fire in Griffith Park or taking youngsters to Washington, D.C. to show them the leadership ranks as it becomes apparent that we need to invest in young people. They have done that. They've made an extraordinary commitment to the region we know as Los Angeles. And for that, they are not shy about celebrating. They celebrate 50 years, and where do they go? They go to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. They have a sense of history, and yet they have a sense of the future. And it's for that great wisdom, that great insight, that I join my colleague, Assemblymember Kevin De Leon, on behalf of the California legislatures. My affidavit is the California State Senate, to commend them as they show great insight, as they show great regard for this region, this state, and this is a joint resolution presented by both of us. Mr. De Leon will make his remarks, but I'm simply glad to be back in the Los Angeles City Council chambers to pay high regard to two individuals who are worthy of our acknowledgement, not today, but well into the future for what they have already committed to do. So we thank you both, Frank and Jamie, and we salute you for the contributions that you continue to make that make us better.
Next, I'd like to invite our Assembly Member Kevin De Leon. He is one of those up-and-coming stars in the state. He's been working very hard with the city of Los Angeles. His district overlays the northeastern part of Los Angeles. Welcome, Assembly Member Kevin De Leon, please.
Thank you much, Honorable City Councilmember Ed Reyes. It's indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here with each and every one of you today. I do want to give a heartfelt thank you to the McCourts, both Jamie and Frank, for their contributions to the City of Los Angeles. It's not just about the product that they put on a field that entertains us day in and day out, but it's also the commitment to the community. I'm very happy that Congressman Javier Becerra highlighted and underscored what he just mentioned a few minutes earlier, their commitment to the community. It's not just, again, the product that they put on the field that inspires us and entertains us, but also their commitment to working class people, those who've been marginalized socioeconomically and politically in this city, in this region for much too long. With the job fairs, they give hope and inspiration to many individuals who don't have it. And for that, I thank both Jamie and Frank for their dedication to the city. Now, I'm originally from San Diego. And I can remember we had the San Diego Padres, and they had their brown and yellow Taco Bell uniforms back in those days. And I can remember watching on television the LA Dodgers, Steve Garvey and Ron Cey and Steve Yeager and Bill Russell and Davey Lopes and Reggie Smith and Dusty Baker and, of course, Tommy Lasorda. And even as a kid growing up in San Diego, I was always inspired by the LA Dodgers. They had those beautiful, awesome uniforms, blue and white and red. It was quite amazing when you juxtapose that with what was going down in San Diego at the time. It was not difficult to not root for the Dodgers all the time. I'm also proud to work with my colleague here, Honorable City Councilmember Ed Reyes, because we both represent the Los Angeles Dodgers, as well as Mr. Garcetti. And I'm proud to just live just about 5 minutes away from Dodger Stadium and represent their interests in the state of California. So when Senator Mark Ridley Thomas and I offered the joint resolution on the Assembly as well as Senate floor, we did this on behalf of the state of California. So regardless if you're a fan of the San Francisco Giants, wherever you may live in the state of California, San Diego Padres in the National League, we offered a resolution for the Los Angeles Dodgers because not to get overly partisan or political, but we do live in a blue state. We do live in a blue county. We do live in a blue city, and this is a blue Dodger Day for each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Last but not least, I want to thank Suzanne Enriquez from County Supervisor Gloria Molina's office. As you all know, she is probably healing from the roast last night, but it's a beautiful certificate, County of Los Angeles Dodgers for your 50th anniversary, signed by Supervisor Gloria Molina, Yvonne Burke, Supervisor Zev Yaroslavsky, Supervisor Don Kanabi, and Supervisor Mike Antonovich. So the whole area, all jurisdictions are celebrating your 50th anniversary. On behalf of our Mayor Villaraigosa, the City Council, congratulations. Thank you. We look forward to great 50 more years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything. Very appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reyes, and we hope Dodgers win tomorrow, Monday, and for the rest of the season. We look forward to that. Forever. That's right. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti. 13 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. First order of business, please.
Approval of minutes.
Yes, Mr. Reyes moves. Ms. Perry seconds.
Next are commendatory resolutions for approval.
Those will be approved.
Madam President, would you like to take up public comments?
No, we'll go through the agenda now.
Items number 1 through 13 are items for which public hearings have been held. Reports for items number 3 through 13 have been submitted.
Okay, those items are before us. Colleagues, items 1 through 13, any specials? Ms. Perry?
After we vote, send item 6 forthwith.
Okay, thank you. Not, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Madam President?
Yes.
There is a request for number 13 to be note and filed.
That item will be note and filed as we do that through. So items 1 through 13, open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Next order of business.
Next are items number 14 through 21. Those are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Yes, colleagues, we have item number 15, 19, and 21 have cards. Those will be called special. Any other specials? Any other specials, colleagues? If not, Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Next items?
Next are items called special.
Okay, thank you. We will go back to our presentations. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Zine for our Pioneer Women Awards this morning. And we'll remember Ms. Perry wanted item number 6 to go forthwith. Ms. Perry, was that item 6? 6, that's right, 6.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. Joining me, Kelly. Where is Kelly? Kelly Hawkins.
She's right behind you, Kelly.
Kelly, come on up here, please. Kelly Hawkins is the interim executive director of the Commission on Status of Women, and also joining us is Miss Cordova.
She's not.
Okay, how about Miss Perez?
No.
No, they're not here? Carmel here?
Yes.
Carmel Sella, Community Development Manager, Wells Fargo Bank. The event sponsor, where is Carmel? She's here. How are you doing? Wells Fargo Bank, that's where I have my money. Thank you very much. Keep it safe.
Thank you for your money.
You're welcome. Tell Shelley Freeman I said hello, President. Vince Luizzi also. All those fine folks. See? We are here to acknowledge Mr. President, Jack Weiss, the command chair. We're here to recognize Pioneer Women, the 20th annual Pioneer Women. There was a breakfast early this morning, reception, awards presentation. Every year, each council district and our mayor nominate an individual to receive the Pioneer Women Award. This award has been in existence for a number of years, and I will tell you, 20 years. 16 women made outstanding contributions, chosen by each representative of the council district and the mayor's office. They're involved in the community. They're from high school age through retirement age, developed in 1988 to acknowledge the accomplishments of women in the city of Los Angeles. Chosen to receive Pioneer Women Award must meet one or more of the following criteria. So each of the recipients has done something of note. Number 1, live or work in the nominating district. That's pretty simple. Number 2, contribute to improving the community within the council district and or the city, area of education, business, sports, arts, science, community health, or government. Contribute to improving the status of women in the city of Los Angeles. Participation or excellence in non-traditional fields. Involvement in philanthropic endeavors. Women who have performed acts of courage. And we want to thank all of our recipients who are here today, who are now going to join me, and I will have my colleagues come forward, and Kelly's going to say a few words as the women come forward to join me here as we acknowledge them. So the ladies in attendance from the mayor's office and each council office, if you'll please join me up here. Ladies, ladies, ladies. Thank you. Kelly.
Thank you, Councilmember Zine, and thank you, City Council, for allowing us to celebrate these great women here with you today. We have some 16 amazing women that have been chosen from the various council districts as well as from the mayor's office to represent the city at large. What these women are is the face of our struggle and the trajectory to strive for something more, something better, more worthy of our children and the dignity of our community. They represent the effort to make our town stronger through their direct labors in business, neighborhood organizing, and fights for legal justice, to name a few. They represent triumph to overcome barriers, to exploit their talent and attain their professional goals as women in positions of leadership, of which we have more now than ever before. And finally, they represent hope that because these individuals are the role models for our youth, and while we at the Commission seek to build opportunity for women, it is they who step up and execute it. For this reason, we publicly here today celebrate these great women, putting the spotlight on the unsung heroes in the trenches who truly do make the difference every day. So I'd like to welcome all the great women that we're honoring today.
Thank you, Kelly. And now the sponsor for this morning's event, Wells Fargo Bank. Carmel Sella, a few words from you on behalf of Wells Fargo Bank, our event sponsor. And ladies, if some of you would want to sit in the front row here, it make me more comfortable while we do the presentation. If you want to sit in that area. Carmel?
I know you're looking forward to hearing about the fantastic achievements of the women gathered today. Just wanted to say how proud Wells Fargo is to be a sponsor of this morning's breakfast. Wells Fargo is a strong champion of the success of women, both in the community and within our company, and we're delighted to be part of today's events. Thank you.
And Carmel, you're not you're familiar with City Hall. You worked here in the past, a little bit. So I didn't know you went to Wells Fargo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we have the first recipient from the mayor's office. We have the representative from the mayor's office here. Pardon me? Just me. Okay. Irene Harano from the nominated by the mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. Irene, you're Irene.
Oh, yes.
Good morning. I don't have a script on you, but Irene, you've done something marvelous for the mayor to nominate you. Jan Perry is going to speak on behalf of the mayor's office.
Well,
Jan.
I know I have known Irene for many, many years, and she is the engine and the fuel for the Japanese American National Museum, not only spearheading and raising their capital campaign for the construction of this extraordinary institution, which has world renown, and in a world-renowned collection. Irene has done it for quite a long time and does it with an enormous amount of intelligence, grace, and aplomb. Each year, the annual dinner highlights some aspect of the museum and the offerings that it brings to highlight not only Japanese culture, but Japanese American culture here in our own country. And she has been an extraordinary international and national leader in the curator and cultural and museum movement, and so I think it was a wise choice to choose Irene to be honored today. And she's from the 9th District.
And Mr. Zine, if we could, I know each of the council members, we did not have an opportunity to chat about how you want to introduce each of these. I think the council members would like to come up with you to introduce
yes,
their
I want to do that.
recipients.
That's why I asked if there was a representative from the mayor's office.
Yes.
And,
So should we go down? I don't see Mr. Alcon.
If
You
we go
have an
for
order?
District 1, but Mr. Reyes, I think, is in the back with photos. So
I'm here.
District 2, Wendy?
I'm sitting here, so I will go in a few
All right.
minutes. We'll go
Then
to
how
the
about we
next
go
one.
District 3?
How about District 3?
All right, we'll go District 3. Virginia Huber. Virginia, please come forward. Virginia? Come on here, Virginia. Virginia Huber, nominated from Council District number 3. My district, our district. Virginia, been a resident of District 3 since 1959. Married 52 years with 4 grown children. And Bill, your husband's somewhere in the back. I saw Bill here this morning. AA from Glendale College, bachelor's from Cal State LA, master's from Cal State Northridge. While children growing up, Girl Scout leader for 10 years, Girl Scout den mother for 7 years, too many school activities to count. Member of my posse since its inception. What Virginia and Bill did in my district, checked every store in CD3 that sells spray paint because we have a graffiti problem, or glass etching materials to inform them that these materials had been, by law, locked up. One store would not comply, so we took it to the city attorney's office to intervene with very positive results after criminal sanctions against that particular establishment. Has reported hundreds of potholes, street light failures, alley cleanup, and graffiti. Worked in my office, LAPD, Department of Motor Vehicles, Alcohol Beverage Control, other city and county agencies to stop firearms discharge, drug deals, loitering along the Wash just north of Van Owen, and to improve the livability, the corner of Varial and Sherman Way. Worked on the block project along Cohasset near Oso with the city attorney's office and others. Was interviewed for the training film used by the city attorney's office, named a hero by Los Angeles City Attorney's Office. Arranged for Michael's restaurant to be demolished. We tore it down, demolished it. Worked with KYDS 2 years. Worked with the City Commission on Children, Youth, and their families at Reseda Elementary to arrange for students to have photo IDs and fingerprints taken. LA Bridges Advisory Board at Sutter School for 4 years. CUP, CD3 representative for 10 years. President the last 4 years. Representative of SPA 2 for 5 years. Community Action Committee 10 years. President 2 years. Worked Mayor's Volunteer Fair at CSUN. Worked block captain for 14 years, police community representative 12 years, CPAB member 16 years, membership chair 4 years, civilian co-chair 1 year, co-chair LAPD Town Hall, first West Valley Traffic Summit, the first Teens Against Gang Rally, arranged for translators to assist LAPD officers, outreach to the Asian community, Asian and Pacific Islanders Committee at CSUN, advisory board for 2 different middle schools attempting to improve relations between Asian communities, attended leadership conferences, encouraged them to participate in civic activities, participated in the Tonga fundraiser. Tonga, isn't that when they dress up funny? I thought so, okay. I saw that on Animal House or something like that. Okay. CPAB, Senior Fair at Pierce College, helped establish West Valley LAPD Officer Appreciation Day, assisted at many hosted Thanksgiving dinners for police officers and their families the last 3 years, served on CPAB committee to improve relations with Police Commission, and part of the West Valley Jeopardy Board. Only a few things that Virginia has done, and I see her in my district office frequently volunteering, and we were looking for the pioneer women from my district. There was no question that your activities in the community and the city, and being married to Bill for 52 years, is commendable. So we want to acknowledge you as the pioneer women for CD3. Congratulations to you. We have a presentation here, and we're going to take a photo right now. Thank you very much. And a beautiful bouquet for you. And if you'll please stay with us, because we're going to do all in the back and do additional photos.
Okay.
And we want to give you a couple minutes on the microphone to tell the people of Los Angeles how honored and proud you are to be the pioneer women. Virginia Huber.
I want to thank all of you. I've worked with several of the city council members on various things, and some of you will recognize me. And I am very honored to receive this, and I feel that my life has been enriched because I was able to work to improve the city. I think volunteers get as much out of their volunteering as they give to other people. So I want to thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to volunteer, and I wish you all well, and thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Virginia Huber from CD3. How about CD5? Mr. Weiss?
District, right.
Well, we're going to do Mr. Weiss first. Mr. Weiss was up, now it's coming down. Mr. Weiss.
Love it.
You want to come up here?
Why don't we do it here? That
Whatever's
way,
convenient, Mr. Weiss.
Make things easier for everybody.
We have your representative right here. Abby? There you go.
Am I following the script?
Mr. Weiss, your turn.
Mr. Smith says I'm following the script, Mr. Zine.
You're following script.
Okay. So, my pioneer woman is standing right next to you. Could you make room at the podium, please?
Yes, I will.
Give it up for Abby Liebman, everybody.
I'm trying to give her the cert.
I'll be here.
Abby.
I'm not going to read Abby's entire resume to you, but I'll just tell you this. She co-founded the California Women's Law Center. She has led numerous lawsuits and legislative efforts to improve the lot and lives of women and girls. And all of us in this room who have daughters, myself included, owe her a great debt. She's presently at work helping the Los Angeles Fire Department and hopefully soon the Los Angeles Police Department as well. She's someone who all of us in law look up to, and if you believe that real change in America comes, frankly, not as often as we'd like in legislative bodies, but in courtrooms, then Abby is definitely your person, and she's my pick as pioneer woman. Congratulations, Abby.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. And I want to thank especially the Commission on the Status of Women for establishing the Pioneer Women Award, which they did 20 years ago. As many of you who know me will know, I've been in this building many times over the course of my career, which spans a little more than 20 years. And it is truly my belief that the city of Los Angeles can and should be a leader on the championing and opening opportunities and avenues for women and girls in the city, both within City Hall and outside of it. I think that there are some challenges that still face this city. I know that the people here in this room, the elected officials, the people who work in these departments are committed to making this city the example that I know it can be. And I know that with the resources that you have here, both in the Commission on the Status of Women, the women who are engaged in leadership on the City Council, and in the very prestigious positions in these departments, that you'll be able to make that a reality. And I look forward to working with you to make that possible. Thank you again.
And Mr. Weiss has a bouquet for you, and then come back here because we're going to do a group photo after. Mr. LaBonge, District Number 4, Mr. LaBonge.
Melba Culpepper. Give Melba Culpepper and all our honorees a bigger hand for Pioneer Women, which is so important here. For 20 years, Melba has worked for nonprofit organizations, a graduate of the great state university in San Francisco. She has been the executive director at the Hollywood Boys and Girls Club, which is so important to influence the young boys and girls of our region about the importance of all the good values that you learn in the Boys and Girls Club. And this person is the instigator of that. I just want to salute you for your leadership. You've expanded the club. You're going to even build more. We're going to help you all that we can. And it's the Peterson Club, Bob and Margie Peterson Boys and Girls Club, right on Cahuenga, which I share with Mr. Garcetti. I just also want to thank you for your prior work, which you've done other works, but you've been a trailblazer, which is so important, Melba. And I don't know what more to say other than you are a very special Pioneer Woman of the Year.
Thank you.
Melba Culpepper. I could have read all the stuff, but I wouldn't. I want you to say something. These are flowers for you, because you're such an angel. There, that was the screech of the microphone. I'm sorry, right here.
Thank you, Councilmember LaBonge, the City of Los Angeles, and the Commission on the Status of Women. It is my honor to accept this award on the behalf of the many, many Black and Latina women that I serve every day at the Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood. It is because of them that I'm inspired to do everything that I can to shape the future and to make sure that opportunities are available for all women and children in Los Angeles and throughout the world. Thank you for this honor.
Good job. Thank you.
Our next presentation by District 1, Mr. Ed Reyes.
Thank you, Councilmember Zine. Irene, I'm going to go over there.
Mr. Reyes.
This is special. Irene, in my mind, is a pioneer in the purest sense. Irene is the daughter of farm workers in Salinas, and she's the first woman to head the Red Shield Center. She's an ordained minister turned youth advocate. Her calling now is keeping children out of the ugliness of the city and the gangs. She has helped more than 3,600 at-risk youth who live in the Pico Union area. She takes part in after-school activities, and her program offers a whole array of functions that opens up and allows the kids to envision world of possibilities. As a team leader, she has leveraged resources to bring a state-of-the-art vaulted ceiling ballet room, a basketball gymnasium, and synthetic turf soccer field to the center. She is one of the examples of vitality, positive thinking against overwhelming odds after the riots, during the earthquakes, all of these incidents. Irene was the pillar there. Today, 2008, fast forward, 15 years? She is still there doing incredible work for our children. So Irene Lewis, you truly are a pioneer of the year.
I truly want to thank Ed Reyes for his tremendous support and for his team. And we all know that service organizations and individuals cannot take all the credit. It really is a host of team members that support the efforts. Carmen Vaughn is here, one of our pillars in our community. I could not do, and the Salvation Army Red Shield could not do what we do without all of the collaborative workers, the team members, and Ed Reyes, who has been a tremendous support to me and the center. Thank you very much, and I am privileged to receive this award.
Thank you. Congratulations. And our next presentation will be Councilmember Janice Hahn. We're already out of order. We're already out of order.
We're out of order. I'm going to give you these right now.
Thank you.
Okay, beautiful.
They're gorgeous. And my Gemini.
Thank you, Dennis, for going out of order a little bit. This is Council District 15, and my pioneer woman is my very good friend, Stephanie Martisich. And, you know, I kind of looked up the definition of pioneer this morning, and it's one who goes before, preparing the way for others. And that's why I chose Stephanie to be my pioneer woman. She's a native of San Pedro, and she's really worked tirelessly to improve the quality of life for our community, really as long as I can remember. She has an amazing resume. She was a successful career as a communications and PR consultant in the entertainment industry, and still dabbles in the industry, in that industry. She's an avid writer. She's authored a number of journal articles as well as letters to the editor, which, you know, you have to be a good writer to get your letters to the editor frequently published in the LA Times and the Daily Breeze. She has a lifelong interest in fine cuisine, and she actually created Stephanie's Sensations Peppa Jelly, which is sold locally in San Pedro at Jacaranda, and some of us are lucky enough to get it sometimes as a special gift. Stephanie really showed the strength of her character last year when she had a difficult personal loss when her own father passed away. And her father was such an amazing man and had quite an extensive history in our town as well. And Stephanie has ensured the memory of her father through supporting and promoting a permanent exhibition, Caught, Canned, and Eaten, the story of San Pedro's fishing and canning industry at the Los Angeles Maritime Museum. But really, I wanted to focus today on why Stephanie's my pioneer woman, and that's because with a lot of critics, a lot of doubters, a lot of people who said it would never happen, Stephanie started the Los Angeles Harbor Film Festival in 2002, and this year we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of that International Film Festival. And people all over said we had too many film festivals in LA, you couldn't start another one, and Stephanie believed that Los Angeles has an incredible history and connection to the waterfront and to the harbor, and felt like this was a perfect way to show films which had a connection to not only our labor industry, but our fishing industry, and just films about our waterfront. And this film festival is now very much renowned, and people come from all over. It's held every year at our beautiful historic Warner Grand Theater in downtown San Pedro. But without Stephanie's tenacity and her persistence and her determination, she never says no. She gets everyone to sponsor this film festival. This year, we've got Starbucks, we've got ILWU sponsoring it, we've got Juanita's Foods sponsoring it. So she's really such a great crusader and cheerleader. This year's film festival will take place April 24th to 27th, and I, along with the ILWU, will be sponsoring the film The Eye of the Storm, which focuses on labor issues. I just find Stephanie to be one of those women that really inspires me. And really makes me realize the power of a woman and the power of a woman to really leave a lasting legacy in so many areas. So, Stephanie, I'm very, very proud to make you my pioneer woman. Thank you so much. Really. Great. Extraordinary. Say a few words.
Thank you. I'm a woman of a few hundred, if not 1,000 words, and this could be dangerous, but I'll try to be succinct. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my remarkable, wonderful, educated, elegant mother, Lee Shear Martisich, over here.
Yes.
My sister joined us today, and our dear friend Perry Viganis. A lot of you on the council know her. She does makeup for Channel 35, makes everybody look even prettier and more handsome.
She does.
Of course, I'm missing my dad. I had a remarkable father like Janice had, and Kenneth Hahn, and I'm wearing his star sapphire ring here, and his special watch. And yes, I come from that lineage of pioneering immigrant stock. My grandfather came here as a young man from Croatia with an 8th grade education. My other grandparents from Lithuania, my other grandparents from Germany. And I had 2 incredible grandmothers. One I got to know, one I'm named after, and they certainly inspired me. But people ask me how I came to do what I do, and it started because I was a Brownie and a Girl Scout and an Assistine and a Job's daughter, and our family absolutely lived under the guise of giving service, enjoying culture, dining well, traveling well, I'm blessed with a privileged life, but we learned to make the beds and clean the house, and that's why we have a hard time having anyone else do it today, because we know how to do it, among everything else. So it really is, and I enjoy being a girl, as the song says. So it's really important. This award was a complete surprise to me. I am so humbled and honored, and I love the pins they gave us. And I thank Janice Hahn immensely. I feel privileged to be her constituent and to have been building a beautiful friendship with her. She's just fantastic and a lot of fun and so intelligent and so dedicated. And thank all of you in the chamber for and the council for all that you do, because it's way beyond these kinds of meetings. Every night, every day, I know how much you have to do. So, and she gave a good pitch for our festival. I want to invite everyone to come to San Pedro, to the Warner Grand Theater from April 24th to 27th. There's a movie for everybody. We have great popcorn. You can get a glass of wine. You can go to the parties. We have wonderful restaurants. And it's just fabulous to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And don't forget the lobster. Yeah, we're going to do pictures in the back after.
Afterwards?
Afterwards, yes. And don't forget the Lobster Fest in San Pedro. I love that, Lobster Fest. Our next presentation, Bill Rosendahl. Bill.
Thank you very much, Dennis Zine. I'm sitting here at the wonderful moment with the great lady in my district that has made a huge difference in the district. It is a story we all need to hear. Marjorie was born in 1921 in Beverly Hills. Marjorie grew up in a farm in Venice. Marjorie is one of 11 children. Her grandfather, back in Japan, was ill. Marjorie was about to go to college. and the family felt it was strongly important that Marjorie go back and take care of Granddad. She went back to Japan. Her grandfather died. The Second World War began. Marjorie could not come back to the States, even though she was born here and is an American. Her father and her mother and her 10 brothers and sisters were taken away and put in a camp. In 1950, she was able to finally get out of Japan and come home to the States. Shortly thereafter, she married and had 3 children. On my right, of course, is Marjorie. Right on my left is Mark. Next to Mark is his son, Jason. And there's Diane sitting next to Jason. Besides having 3 children, she wanted to go back and get her degree, nursing and her school degree. She did. Then she got involved in Stoner Park. She got involved with the Buddhist temple there at Sortel and got very engaged in all the issues of the community. Now, as a young 86-year-old lady, she's actively engaged in all of the issues of seniors, nutrition and health. She is an incredible asset to our great city and to our great community. Marjorie.
Well, I'm very happy to be here today. Had it not been for I missed my dental appointment, and that day was a day that the atomic bomb came. Had I been there, I would have surely died because my dentist, the building, and all that came down, and I would surely not be here. But I'm very grateful that I'm able to be here to join everyone and having all my children. They've all been so good to me, and I'm very, very happy to say that I have 7 grandchildren, but they all has been so great that I'm so proud of them. But right here I have my son-in-law, and he is very good to me too. He takes me to the doctors, and he takes me to the different, like if I have trouble with my eyes, he's right there to help me. But anyway, I'm very, very thankful. Oh, and I want to say that I have really enjoyed being with a preschool and then at the Norris Terry School, and I worked, altogether, I think I worked about 15 to 20 years. And then now, of course, I just retired from the Senior Citizen Lunch Group, and I've been there 26 years. So, thank you very much.
I would like to make a quick footnote, and I wanted Marjorie to tell you the story. It was August 7th, 1945. Marjorie had a dentist appointment, but she didn't feel able to go. But she was at her window when the atomic bomb blew up 12 miles away, and she, with her very eyes, saw the devastation and the death that it created in Japan. May we never have another atomic bomb in our great country and in our great world. Thank you, Marjorie, for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Congratulations, Marjorie. Our next presentation, Council District 8, Jan Perry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zine. And Mr. Rosendahl is a TV man, so he did a remote broadcast. And I'm going to do a remote broadcast, too.
She wants a
because
remote.
Sandra Bryant, come on over here and stand with your mother, Mrs. Reynolds, and your husband, Mr. Bryant, so we can make it a family affair. It's a real, we have 2 dynamic women here from the 9th District today. Irene Hirano was the first, and the second lady we're speaking of now is Sandra Bryant. Now, Sandra is the executive director of All People's Christian Center, and she has held this position for an amazing 24 years. And she has a long history with the center because it began with her being a 2-year-old in their daycare facility. Now, of course, she's an active member of the community, otherwise she wouldn't be here. The CPAD, the Neighborhood Council, the Community Police Advisory Board in the Newton Division, member of the CRA Community Advisory Committee in the 9th District. But here's the amazing thing about Sandra and how she runs the center. Whenever I go there, I am always overwhelmed. She doesn't get just a couple of hundred people to show up. She has several thousand people show up at the events that she facilitates, enables, sponsors, hosts, finds ways to fund. And it's a real pleasure to have her there as an anchor to the community. She is deeply loved and has transformed the center for the last 25 years. And she is a humble person who says that the changes have occurred not only because of her efforts, but a dedicated staff of sensitive, compassionate people who are committed to improving the lives of people. And because of that, under Sandra's leadership, All Peoples has become a member organization of the United Way of Greater Los Angeles. In 1984, they were the recipient of the 1998 Community Impact Charity of the Year, and in 2005, United Way honored All Peoples as Agency of the Year. In addition to the United Way honors, she has received the Labor Community Services Honorary Award presented by the Community Services Department of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, AFL-CFO. She was the first female member of the Lions Club back in 1987, and in 1992 became its first female president. She is indeed a lion in spirit and in title. She also received the Melvin Jones Fellows Award from her club, one of the highest honors in Lionism. But what I like about Sandra is that she is a strong woman. She is an independent woman. She takes care of everybody's families, and she is committed to speaking up for those in need without asking for herself. And under her leadership, programs like Safe Passages for our children from John Adams Middle School, or the JAM program, or Healthy Food Baskets to families in need, parenting classes, workshops, and providing a safe place for children to thrive, to study, and engage in sports. She is a phenomenal woman, and I can see why, because she has a phenomenal mother and a very, very supportive husband. And I just want to express my public gratitude to her, and I hope you can get this all on camera, including showing her beautiful mother, and to say thank you, Sandra Bryant. Mama's on TV too. Good. All right. I know she does. Thank you. You want to say a few words?
First, let me say thank you to Councilwoman Perry. I want to say that since she has been in office, whenever we called on her office for support, she has always been here, and I am truly honored and humbled by this experience today. I also would like to thank the Commission on the Status of Women for placing this on the agenda for people to really realize the recognition that women make to the city of Los Angeles. I would be remiss if I did not thank my mother, because she is the original pioneer woman in my life, and it's because of the values and ethics that she taught me that I've been able to do what I am doing now. All Peoples nurtured me, and it represents really what I believe this city is, an inclusive city, starting in a community that was predominantly Japanese American, transitioning into African American and now Latino. And so for 65 years, we have been the anchor because we truly believe in the value and respect for all people. I invite you to come and visit us on April 5th for our annual Health Resource and Book Fair, and you will be able to witness for yourself what All Peoples means to the community. Thank you once again.
Congratulations and thank you. Our next presentation will be by Councilmember Huizar, who will be also presenting on behalf of Councilmember Eric Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zine. On behalf of Council President Eric Garcetti, I am pleased to introduce Council District 13's Pioneer Woman of 2008, Pilar Quispe. Pilar has lived in Council District 13 and has been working to improve the community for more than 20 years. She came from Peru to East Hollywood to seek new opportunities for her family. Top among her priorities was ensuring that her children had access to a quality education. She quickly learned about the desperate need in American public schools for more resources and community support. She also saw that parental involvement could make a big difference. As her children attended local schools, Grant Elementary, LeConte Middle, and Marshall High, Pilar began to organize parents to fight for more resources to help them learn and prepare them for future success. She was involved in giving families more educational opportunities directly and helping them to get better jobs. She has played an active role in helping bring the Healthcare Career Ladder program to LA City College. The program teaches participants the skills they need to find jobs in LA's growing healthcare industry and then allows them to continue their coursework in phases to help them move up the career ladder. In recent years, Pilar has expanded her community activism to include fighting for resources to address at-risk youth and gang violence in her community. She is currently working with the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and the Drug Free Community Initiative, which is organizing local residents to help prevent drug and alcohol abuse among at-risk young people. Pilar has also worked with dozens of neighbors to help them form their own neighborhood watches. And she has helped to build a network of Peruvians living in Los Angeles that raised funds to send to Peru after the tragic earthquake in 2006. Excuse me. Council President could not be here today. He is on duty as a Naval Reserve officer, but he wanted to make sure that Pilar was one of the inspirations for the leadership academies his office organizes that have trained more than 1,000 local residents to be effective advocates for their community. He says Pilar epitomizes the definition of a pioneer, and we are all very fortunate that she chose to dedicate more than 2 decades of her life to making Los Angeles a better place for us all. I am proud to recognize Pilar as Council District 13's Woman of the Year. Felicidades. Y muchísimas gracias por el trabajo que usted hace aquí en nuestra comunidad. Sabemos que usted tiene un corazón grande y esperamos que la ciudad de Los Ángeles esté con usted siempre para que siga haciendo el trabajo que hace. Felicidades.
Muchas gracias.
We need a translator. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Okay, we got it. Diga algo poquito y luego ella lo dice.
Buenos días. Quiero dar las gracias por este reconocimiento.
Good morning. First of all, I want to thank everyone for this recognition.
Pero no puedo dejar de reconocer que no sería hoy quien soy si no fuera gracias primero a Dios que me ha dado salud y vida para poder estar aquí.
But I cannot accept this recognition without first recognizing, first and foremost, God who's given me the ability of being able to be here today.
A mis padres por los valores que me inculcaron, por el amor al prójimo.
Also to my parents for the value they instilled in me to love our neighbors.
Y por las diferentes demostraciones de amor de parte de mi comunidad.
And through the different ways that the community has shown their love towards me.
Las diferentes organizaciones como el LA Bridges, el Children's Hospital.
And different organizations like LA Bridges, Children's Hospital.
Los diferentes representantes que son como ustedes.
And to the different representatives, elected officials such as yourselves.
Que nos dan ayuda.
That always help us.
Y esta es una pequeña forma de regresarles a ustedes toda la ayuda que recibimos.
And this is just a small way of giving back to you because of all the help that you provide to us.
Y al igual que yo, acá estos padres que están hoy que me acompañan.
And along with yours truly, also with the parents who are joining me here today.
Que me gustaría mencionarlas porque son tan importantes como yo.
And I would like to mention them because they are as important as myself.
Carmen Guisado. Gracias. Adriana Campos, Angélica Méndez y Aida Cartagena. Pinilla, perdón. Bueno, es de Colombia. Gracias a ellas estamos hoy aquí, regresando un poquito de lo que ustedes nos han dado.
Thanks to them, we're here with you today, giving a little bit back of all the great things that you've given to us.
Y espero que podamos seguir trabajando juntos para tener una comunidad o un vecindario más seguro para todos nosotros.
And we hope to continue working together to continue having a better and more safe community for all of us. Thank you.
Gracias.
Pueden pasar por acá. Felicidades. Now, Council President, it's my honor to introduce Tammy Membreo, the CD14th Pioneer Woman of the Year. I admire Tammy for her dedication to the community, her unselfishness, and overcoming barriers to be able to now serve the community, a community that gave her so much as she was growing up. And let me tell you a little bit about Tammy and her background. Tammy is an immigrant like myself. Tammy came to this country from El Salvador at a very early age, and she understood the importance of access to health care and education, and she has dedicated her life to providing health care and education for others. During her college years, she began volunteering at Barrio Action Youth and Family Center in El Sereno and the Oscar Romero Health Clinic in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. It was at the clinic where her passion for serving the homelessness population developed. However, in October of 1989, Tammy was diagnosed with lupus. Although this is a treatable disease, it has no cure, and it prevented her from working with the homeless population. She didn't let that bring her down. She continued to help others, and she began working at the Watts Health Foundation as the Director of Patient Services, where she developed outreach efforts targeted at encouraging residents to access available health services. In 1991, Tammy embraced the opportunity to become the Executive Director of Barrio Action Youth and Family Center in my district in El Sereno. The center is a human and social services organization, and under her guidance, it has grown from a staff of 3 to a staff of 20 today. The program has expanded to greatly improve the community and improve the quality of life for youth and the families that they serve. Its programs help keep youth in school, assist dropouts, and help them return to school. It provides job development, aid, and encourages the at-risk youth who live in the community to stay out of gangs and to counsel them on drug and alcohol abuse. Tammy has also led the effort for the construction of a new $8 million youth and family constituent center in the community of El Sereno, which we will soon cut the ribbon on that. She led that effort to provide a much-needed community center in that community. We thank her for that. But she also takes the time to be involved in various other neighborhood organizations, such as LA 32 Neighborhood Council, the Greater El Sereno Chamber of Commerce, the Hollenbeck Division Police Advisory Board, and is a member of the Garbanza Improvement Association. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect and have much admiration for Tammy. She is someone that has dedicated a life to the community and someone who has shown the value of being unselfish and being in this world for the service of others. Tammy Membreo, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I get 2 bouquets of flower here. I want to thank Councilmember Jose Huizar for this honor. It really, and also the Commission on the Status of Women and City Council. It is really humbling because in Council District 14 there is many, many amazing women, and I was teasing Marcia, who was telling me about this honor, and I said, well, there's other women, there's other great women who are doing small things and big things in Council District 14, and she says, but we want you. And I was, and it brought a lot of what my mother has always said, and I think this award is to her because she has shown us, she has 4 daughters and raised us all to have the work ethic and the love for what we do, always to be really the driving force behind our work. I brought my son here today. I got him out of school to be here because I want him to see and to continue.
Come on up there.
I wanted to know that there's great women and that he needs to appreciate and love women for all they bring. And so here he is.
He's playing hooky.
He's playing hooky, yes. So I really appreciate this. My younger sister is here. She says, you and your awards, you and your things, but this is amazing because women, honoring women is always something that is special for all of us. And Wendy Gruhl said it earlier, and he was saying, why is she bashing on men, Mom? I said, it's not that. It's that we need to make sure that the glass ceiling is broken for all of our daughters, all of our nieces, and all of the women who work really hard. And in City 14, we have amazing women, and I'm humbled by this honor. Thank you so much. And my sister is here, too.
I don't want to hide her in the back. Come on up here.
I'm not shy.
She's not shy. She just,
Get you on camera here.
So this is my younger sister. We just play hooky from work, so to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. The next council member is
Mr. Cardenas.
Mr. Cardenas, okay? Mr. Cardenas.
Followed by Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith on deck. Mr. Cardenas is up right now, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. I'm joined here in honoring Barbara Caesar. I'm joined by Pierre Louis Maroney, President and CEO of Synchro Air, which is the business that Barbara and her late husband Ed had started right there in Van Nuys at the Van Nuys Airport. And also by a family friend, Nelson Burstoff. Thank you for joining us. The reason why they're here is because Barbara can't be here with us physically. She's in heaven now. On November 10th, 2007, she passed away very suddenly. Complications due to basic surgery, and we all got the call and were very saddened about her passing. But I wanted to honor Barbara Caesar because she's the kind of person that even though she's not here physically, her legacy lives on. And it started off when she was a little girl, when she dreamed of flying, and then she decided to take a hang gliding class. And in that class, she met her then, who became her husband, Ed Caesar. And she loved flying so much, and even after Ed passed away, she made a commitment to continue to learn how to fly, and she actually got her helicopter's license, which is very rare. Not that many women get their helicopter's license, but it just goes to show how determined she was and how much she loved flying, and she loved being in that world. She actually rents a big hangar in Van Nuys, and in that big hangar, many wonderful things have happened. She's actually hosted people like John Travolta and Frank Sinatra and Kevin Costner, and many other big stars have had their jets in that hangar. But that's nothing compared to what she's done for the 1,400 kids that I witnessed going there for job fairs, and the 1,200 and 1,300 Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts that I witnessed year after year enjoying that venue so they could have a wonderful event together, and Barbara Caesar hosted it. And she always opened her big doors of that hangar. It was kind of like a big living room, because when you were at Barbara Caesar's place, you were like you were in somebody's home. Barbara Caesar was a wonderful person. She gave of herself tremendously, and that legacy lives on, because on April 25th April 25th, that legacy is going to live on because she adopted the children in the community and is going to have an aviation fair there with, again, at least 1,400 kids. 1,400 kids to learn, to dream, to say, hey, if I want to be a mechanic, if I want to be an airplane pilot, all I have to do is go right there to Van Nuys, and there's those jobs for me. Many of our children don't understand that. Barbara Caesar understood that, and she once again opened her doors years ago, and those doors remain open. So I wanted to say to all of you, Barbara Caesar will be missed, but I think it's appropriate that we honor her as the Woman of the Year for the 6th Council District. She didn't live in the 6th Council District. She had her business in the 6th Council District, but she gave of herself as much as anybody I have ever met. So with that, we honor Barbara Caesar as the Woman of the Year for the 6th Council District, and at the same time, I'd like the person who's running the business that Ed and her left behind, Pierre Louis Maroney, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. It really takes two men to hold up Barbara. I'm honored to be here in front of all of you to represent and be here on Barbara's behalf. We miss her very much. She created a great business in a great location in a great city. And I have to say one thing, Mr. Cardenas, you always brought up a huge smile on her face when your name or name of your staff came up in a conversation. And we're going to miss her very, very much. And I invite everybody to come up to the Van Nuys Airport on April 25th for the Aviation Career Day. Again, thank you very much, Council Member and Mr. Mayor, for having us here today. Thank you again.
Our next presentation, Mr. Smith, 12th District.
Thank you, Starsky. Appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to be here to recognize extraordinary women in our city and our districts, and I'm very pleased to do that today, but also because this woman is also a very close, dear personal friend of both my wife, Chris, who is here today, and mine. We met Diane back in 1974. Diane Cartiala was born Chippewa and French parents in Minnesota, and so she's part Indian, and her name now is Cartiala. Her husband is Finnish, and so we like to say her children are Findians. Diane has an extraordinary history of community service. We met her first when I was a member of the North Hills Jaycees, where her husband was very active and she was very active in 1974. She expanded her reach from the Jaycees to support the local schools where her children went to school, Hillcrest Christian School and later LA Baptist High School. Besides the North Hills Jaycees, she was very active and later president of the YWCA Women's Club in our area. She became a member of the board of the Valley Alliance, West Valley Alliance, which serves most of the San Fernando Valley in eradicating graffiti. She's a member of the Chatsworth Historical Society and a member of the board of SOLID, the Supporters of Law Enforcement in Devonshire, an organization that raises about $25,000 a year to support our police department. She's a member of the YMCA's Strategic Planning Committee and later the Building Expansion Task Force. Since 1994, she worked first as a volunteer on the 12th District Annual Peace Officers, Firefighters, and Paramedics Luncheon, which we do to honor police officers, firefighters, and paramedics who serve our community. She became a volunteer for Hal Burnson, my predecessor, in 1979. And later, we just said, Diane, you're doing so much, we would like to have you work for us for a while. And so she became a part-time employee. And then we said, Diane, you're doing such an incredible job. We need you full-time. And so she became a full-time employee of Hal Burnson's. And when I was elected, obviously, I kept her on there, on my staff as well. And so she's done an extraordinary job. And she's one of those employees that people would come up to me constantly in the store and the places I go and say, that Diane Cartiala is working with us on this or that, and she's just a gem to work with. She is retired from city service, but hasn't retired from her role as a community volunteer. She's going to continue to organize our annual Peace Officer Firefighter Luncheon, and she continues to work with SOLID and other organizations in our valley, in our community. She leaves a tremendous mark in the 12th District. Besides her years of service working with animal regulation, wildlife, and the environment, she also headed up our parks efforts. And she leaves today in saying that in 5 years she was there, we acquired now 11 new acres of parkland for our district, 2 brand new parks in 5 years. And Diane Cartiala led the process of bringing the community together and designing what those parks would be. And so I know for the rest of her life, she'll be able to drive by those 2 parcels of land and said, I designed those. I, Diane Cartiala, designed those new parks for the people of L.A. And so it's a tremendous honor for me to say to Diane, congratulations on your many, many years of service. Congratulations from me personally and Chris for being selected as our Pioneer Woman of the Year. And I know that your service will continue for a long, long time, long after I leave public service and I become a volunteer with you.
That's right.
So Diane, with love from Chris and I and all the staff of the 12th District here, thank you so much for everything. You got to get a phone. Right. Oh, one more? One more. Una más.
Okay, real quick, because I got ladies behind me. I just want to say, many years ago, starting to volunteer, it's like, where did those years go? And I just want to encourage everyone. You may not think you have time, but you do, and the years go by fast. You make many friends when you go out into the community and volunteer. When you help service organizations, I just say volunteering is a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Next, Mr. Zine.
Mr. Parks will also present on behalf of Mr. Wesson. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Dennis Zine. First of all, I'm going to handle Mr. Wesson's presentation, and I'd ask Donna Jones to come up at this time. Donna Jones is a representative of the 10th District. She is a special education teacher at Thomas Riley High School in Watts. Many of us fully aware of the unique talents that it requires to be in special education, and I get that information routinely because my sister's been in special education for 20 years at University High School. She lives in the West Adams area for most of her life. She also is very active in the neighborhood as a block club president. She helped organize, in fact, the West Adams Avenue Neighborhood Association. She also has been a part of the local neighborhood council. She's a graduate of USC, received her teaching credential from Cal State LA. And on behalf of the 10th District and Herb Wesson, I'd just like to honor Donna Jones as the Pioneer Woman for the 10th District.
First of all, I'd like to thank Council District 10 and Councilman Herb Wesson. It's a great honor. Not sure that I should be here with everyone else. I'd like to congratulate all the other women that were here and all their talents. As the lady before me said, volunteering is very important for your community. It definitely changes the quality of life for the community. And I think with all the late nights and the times when I really didn't feel like going, this has absolutely given me more courage to keep going. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The next person for the 8th District is Libby Clark. Libby, come on up. Libby Clark, first of all, is 90 years young. And, her career spans 70 years. She's been a general news reporter, a special assignment reporter, a social news reporter, an editor, a woman's page editor, a section editor, a managing editor of several national and community publications. She began her long and illustrious career as a stringer for the Philadelphia edition of the Pittsburgh Courier, an African-American newspaper chain, and later with Philadelphia Tribune, the nation's oldest African-American newspaper that's still in operation. What I want to do is not go through all the whereases, but also talk about what the impact that she's made on Los Angeles. If you grew up in Los Angeles and you read the Los Angeles Sentinel newspaper, which is the oldest black-owned newspaper west of the Mississippi, there were several things you did. You immediately went and you looked for Libby Clark's article. You looked for Jessie Mae Beaver's article. You also looked at Gertrude Gibson's article, Brad Pye's article. They are the people that caused and created the Sentinel to be moved in a direction to where now, recently, it won a national award as being the best black-owned newspaper in the country. It's something in which she has toiled for a number of years with that newspaper. Before that, she had a very distinguished career in government, where she worked within the hospital industry, was the chief information officer or press relations person for a variety of county agencies. She has just been a mainstay within the community, an activist, a role model. She also created a plum book which identified all of it was like the yellow pages for the black community, identified all of the activities, all of the locations, businesses. It identified the references in which, looking for programs and activities, it was a go-to book. She also created a cookbook in which she took her time and developed it, and I think it's sold now over 200,000 copies as of now. And so she has been a person that has been diligent, has been very active in the community, and certainly deserves to be that pioneer woman. I don't think there's many people that are in the media business, either in the print or the electronic media, that cannot say that the fact that she began to break down barriers 70 years ago, that their careers aren't in some way attached to the fact that she was that pioneer woman a number of years ago. I mentioned at the hearing or the meeting earlier, that she just didn't break down the glass and the concrete and the ceilings in the past. She kept the door open to make sure many people who had a like interest in the media also came forward and had their opportunity in the sun. And so on behalf of the 8th District, I would just like to honor Ms. Libby Clark as the Pioneer Woman of the Year.
It started with my ex-slave grandmother, who told my father, "The child's got a way with words." Subsequently, at 5 years old, we were reading the Bible to her. Later, we had the opportunity to attend the university and to get a position here in Los Angeles. I have used my profession to better things for our country and all of our people. And so I'm very, very grateful that in my 90 years, we have done something constructive for all of America. Thank you.
Our next presentation, Mr. Alarcon. Mr. Alarcon, followed by Councilmember Grewal.
It's a very special pleasure for me to recognize as our Pioneer Woman of the Year, Patricia Austin, who has served as the Executive Director of the Alicia Broaddus Duncan Multipurpose Senior Center in Pacoima since Alicia passed away. And I can tell you that she's been there since she has been at the center since 1994 because she was the administrator under Alicia Broaddus Duncan, and she now is the executive director. But under her leadership, she has been an amazing. She's as much a spiritual advisor as she is a conductor of business, but she has really been an anchor to the center. The center actually provides services to people throughout. I remember being at the center with Rosa Parks. And it's not just a senior center. It is a place where the Northeast Valley convenes many, many meetings. In fact, we just had one the other day that I participated in that was for the whole community. And that's an important part of the senior agenda. But it's also helping all others in the district. Interestingly, a couple of specific accomplishments under her leadership has been the establishment of a computer lab. And you might think, well, seniors don't use computers very much. Well, let me tell you something. When I was in the state senate, we did a study to find out who was doing email. And we found out that the vast majority of people in California at that particular time who were using the web were senior citizens. We had this theory about trying to keep their relationships in distant places where they might have come from as children. LA is a place where people are drawn here. And so, but we also thought it was an economic issue, and it was a very inexpensive way for them to communicate with their family. They could even talk longer. So that was one thing. But the other thing that's kind of cool is she has established a professional exercise program at the center, and that program has obviously extended lives and made people healthier and happier. She is very involved in the religious community and recognized as a staunch supporter of her beliefs, but she puts her beliefs to action, particularly at the center, but actually in so many other ways I can't even mention all of them. Pat Austin is a great leader for the Northeast San Fernando Valley. She's a quiet leader. She doesn't ask for anything whatsoever in terms of recognition, but she is always, always there when you ask for anything. So her employer technically is the Valley Interfaith Council, but I can tell you she works tirelessly to promote the Alicia Broaddus Duncan Multipurpose Senior Center, and every one of you know how vital those programs are to our district. So I couldn't think of anybody more appropriate to recognize than Patricia Austin, who doesn't need the recognition, but I think in recognizing her, the community will understand a little bit more about giving and why it's so important for our community. So it's my honor to present this to you, Pioneer Woman of the Year.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Member Alicon, but I really called him, not like his staff, I don't call him Richard, I call him Senator Alicon. That's a title that sticks with you, right? I'm humbled by this experience and by this honor. The lady with the baseball team was saying she remembered at 9 the dream of owning a baseball team. Well, at the age of 16, I addressed the city council in my small community in West Virginia. And at the time, it was a call to action. And I always dreamed of someday again addressing city council. But I never knew it would be in this capacity. So I'm honored and humbled. And thank you. Thank you very much. Just one more thing. I want to recognize my director, Cambria Smith from Valley Interfaith. And the people behind me are the people that I work for. These are just some of the seniors from that area. And we keep the ball rolling. We keep things happening. And also, earlier, the mayor mentioned about paths crossing. My path has crossed yours since 1983 when you worked for the mayor. At least that's when I met you. And I've followed your career and what you've been doing and been impressed with the actions that he has taken on behalf of the community. And we've been together a lot of times with a lot of those actions. In fact, my photographer, Kelly, was a part of his first Young Senators program. So thank you very much. And thank you guys for coming.
Our next presentation will be Council Member Wendy Gruhl.
Well, last but certainly not least, and sorry, Mikey, as I was chairing council today, you got to be last. So I really appreciate, and we were there this morning greeting and all the women who are really pioneers here for the city of Los Angeles. And Mikey is no exception. As I said at the reception this morning, I said, you know, when I first interacted with Mikey, it was through email and through letters, and I thought Mikey was a guy. And partially because she was so, I think, active and all of that, and I started to say, I think this might be a woman who is doing all this. And Mikey Maloney is someone who's been a resident of Sherman Oaks for over 60 years. She attended St. Francis de Sales in Sherman Oaks. She attended Corvallis High School for Girls, formerly located in Studio City. She is a Bruin, which we're very happy about last night. And in 1968, she married Tad Maloney, and they'll celebrate their 40th anniversary this coming August. She joined Oakwood School, located in Valley Village and Studio Cities, as the school's community and public relations director. And I have to tell you, she's been incredibly effective in getting people together. We're going to have mediation day right after this. You could be helpful to them because she's mediated between the neighborhood and others to try to get that school and its beautification. She's been an active member of the Sherman Oaks Beautification Committee, Chambers of Commerce, Homeowners Association, and the Neighborhood Council. And she has been working on quality of life issues in my district and taking on a lot of responsibilities beyond even her job there at Oakwood School. She has participated in cleanups around Studio City and Sherman Oaks, also has spearheaded fundraising efforts for our street lights that we would like to have, traffic signals, new gymnasium on that campus, and really has been a friend and someone who is willing to give of her time and energy and her passion to serve our community. And she is my pioneer woman because she exemplifies, I think, a woman who gets things done every single day, and particularly in my district. So it is my pleasure to present the last but not least pioneer woman of today to Mikey Maloney. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I just want to say two short things. Number one, actually three. I'm humbled to be in this group. But I think I first learned about a young woman stepping forward when I was the first female copy boy for the old Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, actually the Herald Express newspaper, and I worked under a wonderful person by the name of Agnes Aggie Underwood. So if you didn't learn from Aggie, you just were too stupid, because she was great. The other thing that I want to mention is just the word partnership, and that is I think that we all need each other. We really need what you provide, and frankly I think you need what we provide. And so I intend to keep working. I'm going to retire one of these days. If I were 20 or 30 years younger, I would challenge Wendy for her seat, but that's not in the cards. So thank you very much.
Oh, you can still do it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I just wanted to close by acknowledging my council colleagues who have nominated these wonderful women from our community, and this is all coordinated by Commission on Status of Women, and Kelly is the interim general manager. And just a few closing words, Kelly.
Just want to thank you all for celebrating this wonderful occasion with us. As you could tell, we definitely have some strong women here in the city of Los Angeles that have really blazed a trail for women like myself and others to move forward. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. President. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Zion. Appreciate that. We have a few more presentations to make today. Ms. Hahn, excuse me, Ms. Gruhl, you wish to continue? Okay.
Come on up, Dan. Sorry. I get called Miss Hahn all the time, and she gets Miss Gruhl all the time. Oh, Miss Hahn is back. Okay. Well, I am so pleased to be here today. Was reminded it is the 4th annual Mediation Day in the city of Los Angeles, and I'm pleased to have here today many mediators, but one particular individual who is no stranger and I think the most famous mediator here in the city of Los Angeles, Mayor Jim Hahn, Dan Ben-Zvi, Amy Newman, Amy Solomon, and of course our own Avis Ridley Thomas. We did have James Roby, Lucy Barron, and Jan Frankel-Schau, who unfortunately had to leave because of the length of today's program. But these mediators work in both the public and private sectors. And I'd like to make special mention of the city's Attorneys Dispute Resolution Program represented here today by Avis Ridley Thomas. This program handles many mediation services for different city departments and has enlisted the services of many outstanding volunteers. I want to thank all of these volunteers for their hard work because they resolve conflict that otherwise would have to be handled and long legal disputes and a way in which we can get people in the room to talk about issues that are important to them. Mediators have been used throughout history to resolve conflict and were regarded as sacred characters worthy of particular respect. As we all know, conflict is common in our society, and mediation is a less adversarial option for parties to take to resolve their conflicts. People need other forums to resolve their conflicts, and this provides that alternative method. And so mediation services are very important. And when Dan Ben-Zvi came to me a few years ago and said he wanted to recognize that this week, this month, and what the services do throughout the year, I was pleased to do that because it is a critical part, and we all know that challenges we face in the city oftentimes need that mediation, whether it be in our city atmosphere or out in the world in other programs programs, this has been a great thing. So I'd like to, I think, I'm going to introduce Dan Bensvie, who has been the guiding light on this mediation services here in Los Angeles. Dan Bensvie.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wendy Gruhl, and thank you, City of Los Angeles, for promoting awareness of mediation. It's entirely fitting that we have such an incredibly distinguished group of supporters, including our former mayor, James Hahn. Los Angeles is leading and has been leading the country, has been leading the world in recognizing a better way of resolving disputes. And I know I'm preaching to the choir to tell the city. I was just at the Board of Public Works about the value of mediation, but I'm going to say this for the public. One simple soundbite. I can say, if you go to a doctor and a doctor says you got a problem and you have a choice, you can take medication and diet, take control of the problem yourself, or go directly to the guy with the mask called a surgeon and go to surgery. What are you going to do? Of course you're going to try to take control of the problem yourself. That's what mediation is. To go to a judge or jury before you try mediation, that's the same thing. So you try to take control yourself. Thank you very much, and we appreciate the support. Mayor James Hahn.
Thank you, Daniel. Just briefly, members of the council, I have just joined the ranks of mediators. I figure I had lived in the world of conflict myself long enough so that I could leave that world. And obviously I have had a lot of experience with mediation over the years. As city attorney for 16 years, one of the things I was most proud of was that the dispute resolution program was established in the city attorney's office when I was there due to the leadership of Avis Ridley Thomas, who is the director. Avis told me that she's trained 1,500 mediators who volunteer to take a program, they get a certificate, and then they settle landlord-tenant disputes, neighbor-to-neighbor disputes, business disputes, all kinds of problems that could end up not only in litigation, as Daniel mentioned, but sometimes they can lead to really unpleasant situations too. And these mediators really make Los Angeles a better place. And as fitting, I think that we're here on Pioneer Women Day, Councilwoman Gruhl, because we have some pioneer women here. Avis Ridley Thomas, who pioneered this program in our office, and Amy Newman, who was from the very beginning, she's with Alternative Resolution Centers, from the very beginning of dispute resolution and mediation. And Amy Solomon, who is the current president of the Consumer Lawyers of Los Angeles. These are the kind of pioneer women who are making our city a better place to live, and mediation makes everything nice for everyone.
And now Amy Newman, followed by Amy Sullivan.
I'm Amy Newman. I'm president of Alternative Resolution Centers. We have been in the forefront of promoting mediation since 21 years ago, and I have been a pioneer in this industry, and I have watched it grow and develop. I was there at a time when people didn't even know the difference or what mediation meant, and now it just flourishes here in Los Angeles County and throughout the country, and I'm glad to be proud to be a part of it and hope to see it blossom more in the future. Thank you.
Amy Solomon, president of the Consumer Attorneys Association of Los Angeles. We are the largest local plaintiffs' bar association across the country. We all value mediation as a means by which to, in a civilized fashion, come to some resolution of these cases other than overtaxing the judicial system. So thank you, council members, for recognizing this most important aspect of mediation.
And now I'd like to introduce Avis Ridley Thomas.
It is always a pleasure to come before council, and again with Wendy's leadership and Dan's persistence over these years, ensure that our city is made aware again of this valuable service provided by these wonderful volunteers throughout the city of Los Angeles. Many of them are at a reception upstairs, being given certificates of appreciation for their service to us. We look forward to working in the future with every city department and every council member to ensure that our residents have the best quality dispute resolution services in the nation. Thank you.
And so it's my privilege and pleasure to present to both our city program with Avis Ridley Thomas and to Dan and the Amy's to present these proclamations for Mediation Day. And if we could give them a great round of applause for what they do and all our volunteers on Mediation Day. Thank you. I think Ms. Hahn.
Ms. Hahn, you're not on the queue, but I'll let you do it anyway.
Thanks. I'm taking executive privileges into my big brothers back there. First of all, it's great to see our former mayor here and former city attorney, and we know that this is a great program. And you know, when I think about you all mediators, as really, you are the peacemakers. That's exactly what you are doing. And Jim, when you said mediation makes it better for everyone, you are peacemakers. And sometimes you are able to go in where others have failed to bring peace between two warring entities. So I really think your jobs are so valuable and so precious and so meaningful to the quality of life for so many people in Los Angeles. Why litigate when you can mediate?
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Thank you, Ms. Gruhl, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now, Mr. Alarcon. And to introduce Mr. Alarcon's special guest,
I didn't do that. That wasn't me. Please, everybody, if you would step forward. I think everybody recognizes the music from Chips, and Eric Estrada doesn't need an introduction with regard to his acting career, but what a lot of people don't know and do need an introduction to is that he is a tremendous advocate for child safety. And so today we are recognizing him and an organization he has established, as well as a program that has been created in the state of Virginia, because we believe it's time that we make our kids safer on the web. I said at a press conference at St. Charles Church just the other day that parents who allow their kids onto the web without supervision are like parents who are putting their children's hands in the hands of a predator. And in fact, these people are doing something about it in a big way. So let me just say that internet safety used to be that we could tell our kids not to talk to strangers on the street, but now we have strangers coming into our homes because of the internet. 88 million children and teens online, 40,000 chat rooms. The FBI says that there is a 100% chance of a child meeting a predator in a chat room. Every kid is at risk. Online child pornography and child sex exploitation is the most significant crime problem confronting the FBI that involves the crimes against children. So why am I recognizing these people today? I'm recognizing them, first of all, as part of my monthly child safety recognition agenda. I was going to recognize Eric for the tremendous work he's done in distributing child safety seats. He works with the CHP, no surprise, and distributes hundreds of child safety seats with the CHP. 15,000 child safety seats throughout. And I was going to recognize him for that, but it turns out that he is doing something, I think, ultimately that will be even more important, and that is the work he's doing to create a safer environment for our kids on the Internet. So I am pleased to welcome Eric and his family, Nanette, daughter Francesca, who have just joined us from the top of City Hall. And we also have Sheriff Brown, who is an advocate for this subject, but is sheriff all the way from Virginia, who came out for this presentation because he is actually the vanguard of a program in Virginia, the only program in the United States of America that requires that internet safety training is incorporated into their public educational system. And so I committed to work with them to see what we could do in California. And just Tuesday, I met with Speaker-elect Karen Bass to present a draft bill, and she will be looking at it. So this is why we are here. I just want to recognize these people for doing some amazing thing. Eric Estrada has taken the issue of child safety and internet safety and made it one of his life's mission. He is the spokesman for Safe Surfing Foundation. Safe Surfing provides resources for internet safety education for kids, and he completed his Internet Crimes Against Children online training with the Bedford County Sheriff's Department and assists in tracking down Internet predators. He implemented the Safe Surfing Foundation's Net Smarts program, an age-appropriate Internet safety education program at Charles Borromeo Church in North Hollywood. Mr. Labange is very familiar with it and was there at that time. And he is a champion for children and has shown it by giving his time, resources, and even by being trained as a law enforcement professional. As you may have seen on TV, he is actually a police officer out of the state of Indiana, and he is very excited to talk about his police experience. I believe he's going through the training program at LAPD as well.
Yes, sir.
And so don't be surprised if you commit a crime that he arrests you in the near future. So it is my pleasure to, first of all, recognize Eric Estrada for championing the Safe Surfing Foundation, which simply funds these educational programs for free in the public school systems where they exist, and we're hoping that we can expand that work into the state of California. Eric, thank you so much for your work in this regard. This one is bigger than Francesca, but I hope you'll find a way to take it home.
Oh, it's
so
beautiful.
First, Eric Estrada.
Mr. Alarcon, first we have Mr. Zine, if we may.
Thank you very much.
Hold on, Eric, just 1 second.
Yes.
We get to acknowledge you first. Some more positive encouragement. Behind you, a couple members of the California Highway Patrol. A lot of folks know you as Paunch from Highway Patrol, law and order man, and I know you from a man who gives back to the community. I know what you've done for the community, your participation in law enforcement. People go on in their movie careers and then they get involved in scandals. You've begun a movie career and you've gotten on the side of law to help people. In this particular endeavor, I know we spoke about it at Woodland Hills when they had the recognition for firefighters, your lovely wife and daughter, your little daughter, that's what we're talking about, the future, and to protect them. So I want to acknowledge what you're doing for the community nationwide. Sheriff Brown, thank you for being here from Virginia. Your activity in this, and thank you, Mr. Alarcon, who's also a new dad, has a little baby. It's for those children that we want to protect. And to acknowledge your role in law enforcement, you're participating as a reserve officer in law enforcement, and your activity in this is going to go a long way. So your career, starting with CHIPS and all the recognition. I was a motor sergeant, and I explained to you earlier with LAPD, and I had motor officers that wanted to model after you, always get in trouble when they're on their motorcycle. You've led the way in bringing about some reasonable laws, some reasonable solutions, some reasonable safeguards for our youth. I want to acknowledge you that. I know you're going to continue to help the community of Los Angeles and all of the United States, because you travel all over promoting this program, which is, again, helping our youth and helping the future of America. So God bless you and your lovely family, and we will be in touch and keep you involved in activities here in Los Angeles. And Richard, thank you for bringing him forward today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Zine. Mr. Labange.
Very much. To the Estrada family, thank you, and your beautiful wedding at St. Charles, which is a great church there in Toluca Lake. But Eric, to you, a lot of people in your business sit around all day and wait for a call or go to the gym and work out to try to get another call. You work out helping people. You work out helping people. And I know when I early on talked to you this, and I saw Mr. Alarcon, who did great work in Sacramento on these issues when he was a state senator, is so important. And our very special guest, the sheriff, who has put that all together, and as Dennis mentioned, the CHP. It's all important. These young people from Ivanhoe right here, right now, this is a guy who's going to help you be safe. He helped the whole country be safe when your parents used to watch him on CHIPS. I know all the mothers love taking a picture with you, Eric. But at the same time, now with the internet, there are problems. It is very scary, and I just hope this will help the awareness of others. So I look forward to your remarks as well as the sheriff and everyone too. Congratulations. Thank you, Eric, personally.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you. Well, I also want to thank you, Eric, and your beautiful wife and your beautiful daughter for being here today and adding your name and your celebrityness, is that a word, to this cause. And, I was thinking as a mother, my children are grown, although I have grandchildren now. These are dangers for our children that we never dreamed of. We never could even imagine. I mean, and every generation that goes on, there are new dangers for our children. I mean, it used to be just, keeping them from running into the street or talking to a stranger. But now with the internet, I mean, the dangers are magnified so many times. And I really do appreciate the fact because because of who you are and because of your name ID, you have really brought awareness to this issue that I know will result in more resources. I know it will result ultimately in keeping our kids from danger and hopefully saving lives. And when I was talking to you in the back, I really appreciated both of you to say, anytime you have something, Janice, that has to do with kids, we want to help. Let us know, because that's our thing. We really want to protect our children and give them the kind of life that they all deserve. So I really want to thank both of you for your generous spirits and your really wanting to use your name and use your reputation for good. And I think that's what it's all about. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you all very, very much, Labaj, Zane, Han, and all the rest of you for honoring the cause. Oh, boy. There's nothing worse than a child losing their innocence, because that they never get back. Once they lose it, it's gone forever, and the rest of their life. If they're the lucky ones who don't get murdered, they still have to live this way of losing their innocence, and they're totally dysfunctional, because I've met these children 10 years, 8 years later, from when they were preyed upon on the internet and taken astray, and they're totally dysfunctional. They just never get it back. So in training and educating the children today, they will grow up and they will be parents and they will be able to teach their children. And it's a must. And my thing is, why wait? Like when war was declared on cocaine, gone too long? My boss. When war was declared on cocaine, when it got really turned into crack, because for $2 you can hook anyone, and it's cheap, and everybody can get $2 easily. So, and then that brought the gangs out to control, and then that brought the nines out, then that brought drive-bys and everything else, and then when they started nailing kids from certain societies and communities, that's when they declare war on it. So let's not wait let's do what we can, because once we get it in our schools, and after we're all dead and gone, it'll still continue. And so we'll be continuing to save lives. But let's not wait for our children, my children, and everybody. As a parent, I'm responsible for her. But as an adult and as a law enforcement officer, I feel responsible for every child, whether it's mine or not. Let's not wait until some child of some high-end senator, congressman, city council person, or judge, or president gets preyed upon on the internet, and then they decide to declare war on it. Let's us declare war on it now. I really am grateful. This is my passion. This is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life until we get it in every school. I had the great fortune of meeting this man, who I absolutely love. I mean, I love him. He's a wonderful man. He's 45 years in law enforcement, CIA, FBI, all that other stuff. I won't tell him the secret stuff. But he got it done in Virginia. He had it done in Virginia. He had it put in the schools, mandatory. You can't beat that. And he created a Safe Surfing Foundation, because we can't use federal funds for education. We could only use it for arrest and investigations. So he created a foundation, which is a 501 tax and the whole thing, because they will go anywhere, any state, any school, any agency, and implement the system that was approved and created by DOJ, the Department of Justice, the NetSmart system. And we did it with my daughter's school. Thank God that our principal is St. Charles. Her dad was an LAPD cop, because she got it when I came to her and I said, you need computers? I'll give you 35 computers, but you got to let me bring the guys in to make this school the flagship school. And St. Charles is the flagship school in the state, and they teach internet safety education. My daughter's getting it. How great is that? That's what it's about. Them. Okay? That's our job, folks. That's our responsibility. Okay? I better stop.
Well, somebody who is equally as passionate as Eric in this fight to protect our children is Sheriff Mike Brown. He comes out of Bedford County, Virginia, and he flew out for this event specifically to make us more informed about this subject. He is the co-founder of the Safe Surfing Foundation and is the major force in the push for internet safety education, for the internet safety education mandate in the state of Virginia. The Safe Surfing Foundation provides parents, teachers, and school administrators, law enforcement, community groups, and librarians with the information and resources necessary to keep children safe on the internet. Without further ado, I just want to present to you the real activist behind the scene who made this happen, and that is Sheriff Mike Brown from Bedford County. I also have a certificate of resolution to recognize the Safe Surfing Foundation that I'd like to present to him as well.
I only wished I could smile as well as Eric. I don't have those listening teeth that he does. I'm Sheriff Mike Brown, and I'm sure by now from this accent you know I'm not from here. I'm from the South. I was also told that I had 5 minutes. I said, well, the Southern Sheriff, a 5-minute speech or 5-minute talks takes 20 minutes. But I'm going to speed it up for you today. First of all, I want to thank Councilman Alarcon for having us here today, recognizing what has to be done on a local and state level to protect children on the internet. Just real quickly, Eric gave me a couple more years than I have in law enforcement. I've got, this January, I'll have 43 years. I've worked both in this country and out of this country. What does that mean? It means I'm old. But beyond that, it means that I have worked and I've seen throughout the free world and not so free world, man's inhumanity to man. And I thought I'd seen it all, but I absolutely had not seen it all until I became involved in this arena of child sexual exploitation, crimes against children on the internet, child pornography on the internet. In the mid-90s, Congress recognized a serious problem with kids being targeted over the internet, and they created the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Forces program. Bedford County Sheriff's Office, my office, was appointed a task force in 1998. Since 1998, excuse me, when this program started, there were 10 task forces originally. Now there are 46. You have 3 here in the state of California, one in Sacramento, one in L.A., and one down in San Diego. All great task forces. But since it was created, these task forces have put thousands, and I'm talking about thousands of sexual predators who use the internet for their nefarious deeds against children behind bars. We put a lot of people behind bars, but there are thousands more out there on the internet looking for their next victim, our children. Law enforcement can't catch them all. The premier law enforcement agencies that I have standing behind me, California Highway Patrol, L.A. County Sheriff's Office, LAPD, some of the greatest law enforcement agencies in the world. We cannot catch them all. But what we have got to do is, and what we're asking you to do, is we need to go to, as we did in Virginia, is go to our state education board and try to get the states to legislate mandatory internet safety training, age-appropriate internet safety training. With 55.8 million K through 12 children, kids in public and private schools, law enforcement can't possibly educate them all. We can't do it. We'd love to, but we can't. We need the assistance of our state school systems, and this is why I think it is important that age-appropriate internet safety training education be made mandatory in city and state school systems. Recognizing early on that we couldn't catch all the predators on the internet, I formed the Safe Surfing Foundation, a 501c3 foundation, to one, educate children about the dangers of the internet, and two, probably most important, and the reason we're here today, and hopefully you will be able to go forward to your state legislation and get some sort of mandatory training, is that we want states to mandate age-appropriate internet safety training in the school systems. To this end, we were successful in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, to legislate a mandatory age-appropriate internet safety education statewide. The law was passed unanimously by the General Assembly and signed into law by Governor Kane in 2006. The Safe Surfing Foundation is directed and it is run by law enforcement personnel, all unpaid. The foundation provides free of charge age-appropriate internet safety education software to any school that requests it. We will also, time permitting and expenses, we will do a train-the-trainer program for a particular school system. NetSmarts, a program developed by the Department of Justice, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, is our educational software of choice. And we present this cost at no charge to the school systems. Our program is endorsed by the National Sheriff's Association, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the National White Collar Crime Center. Our first national spokesperson was a person I think most of you will remember, Shaquille O'Neal. He has done PSAs for us, testified with me on Capitol Hill. And as a result of his participations, we have this nonstop dynamo duo behind me, Eric and his wife, Nanette. He has done PSAs for us in both English and Spanish. He has done fundraisers for us. We absolutely, I don't know what we would do without this man. His passion for law enforcement, his passion for kids, I don't think can be touched. We also have with us, associated with us, is Kathy Ireland, Jake Grove, who is the center for the Oakland Raiders, Lauren Nelson, Miss America 2007, and several Ultimate Fighters, UFC fighters, who say they can't wait to get in a phone booth with one of these sexual predators. I don't know what I want to hear about that. Also here today, and they had to leave, was Chief Ron Boyd from the L.A. Port Authority and Dwayne Davis from LAPD, both friends of, very close friends of Shaquille O'Neal, who had confidence in me and my program and introduced me to Shaquille, really got this thing going with the celebrities, the entertainers who have jumped on board now. It's a great honor for me, again, this old Southern Sheriff. I really don't know what to say to you other than thank you. We do appreciate it. It's great being here, and it's nice to know that in the City of Angels there are some. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. If I could just introduce, representing the Sheriff's Department, Joe Gutierrez, Captain Joe Gutierrez, who is actually working on programs that are helped by this program. Captain?
Good afternoon. I'm representing Lee Baca, Sheriff of LA County. I'm the commanding officer of the Sheriff's Special Victims Bureau, and our job is to protect children in Los Angeles County. We handle all cases involving crimes against children, including child sex exploitation. I'm here to support and thank Eric Estrada and Chief Brown from Virginia for their leadership in this very vital area of Internet safety education. As you know, the Internet was created as a valuable resource for education and for entertainment purposes. Unfortunately, these thousands of sexual predators out there have turned us around and have made the Internet their weapon of choice. And unfortunately, their targets with this weapon are our children. As you know, we cannot be in everyone's home and everyone's bedroom monitoring these crimes that are in progress, so it is vital that education in our schools and in our homes becomes part of the solution. We have to be proactive and not just reactive. So we appreciate what Eric and Sheriff Brown have done, and we are following their lead, and we appreciate anything that you can do in your roles in this effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Finally, I just want to recognize the CHP officers, Officer Tang, who protected me in my role as, the CHP is not too far behind Eric wherever he goes. Also, Officer Opp, who is here representing CHP. And the others were mentioned. I finally want to say that this is a presentation, and presentations are nice, especially when you can get the information out to the public. But more importantly, I have introduced a resolution on this subject. Councilman Cardenas has seconded that motion as chair of Information Technology. I also want to point out Jose Huizar is a former school board president of Los Angeles Unified School District, and I'm hoping that he will take this contingent over to the school board to meet Monica Garcia, the president, to see if we can expedite and not wait for the state, but maybe implement an internet safety program in LA Unified as soon as possible. So with that, members, thank you for your patience, but I hope you know, and I think you know, especially those members who have little babies like I do and kids, know that this is a very important subject, and these people are so deserving of our praise and our recognition, but more importantly, it is the action agenda. The resolution hopefully will create a legislative agenda for us to go to Sacramento to get them to create law that will make this a permanent program in our public school system. But we wouldn't have done that without your leadership, and we thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alarcon, and Sheriff, thank you very much for coming out from Virginia. Welcome.
Delighted to be here.
Final presentation, introduction presentation, Mr. LaBonge.
It's good. It's good. Make some headway. All right, man. All right. I'll see you again. See each other soon.
Thanks for seeing us.
Bye, guys.
Say goodbye to Eric.
Be cool, be sharp, be safe, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Be good
Yes,
guys.
sir. Thank you very much.
They had to leave. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, we saw that very important. Give Eric Estrada another big hand right there. Safety is real important, and all those good Ivanhoe mothers, you can move over there if you want a better angle, because you're not blocking anybody behind. These are the city champs from Ivanhoe Elementary School for the division right here. We're going to give them all recognition, and this is their coach, Mark Callen. Give him a bigger hand. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Gruhl, you'll be so proud. He is a city employee of the Department of Transportation. Okay? And he was a coach, and he took a nighttime job with LADOT, and he was coaching these kids to the city title. Then they transferred him to days, so we got to get him back to nights so we can get back to coach the school. I need a second for that motion. All right, we got a second right there.
Thank you.
Coach, say a few words to the assembly of the council.
I'll be quick. I want to say thank you to Councilman LaBonge and the full council. I want to thank the parents from Ivanhoe who participated with us along the way to the city championship. We started off with 500 schools. We ended up with these guys as champions. I want to say thank you very much.
Mark, thank you very much. All right, now we're going to jog out here right now when I call your name real quick there. Diego Jimenez. Jog out there, right there. Here we go. Nico Ochoa. Alexander Marin. Charles Chuddy Cohen. Charles Lindsay III. Luca? Say that last name for me. Luca Gaguducci. Abel Oliveras III. Miles Parr. Paris Gorman. And again, the great coach Mark Callen. Give him a big hand. LA Unified, 500 schools, #1 in the city, Ivanhoe Elementary. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaBonge. Madam Clerk, I believe our next item is public...
Just point of a privilege.
Yes.
Let's thank the parents of Ivanhoe. Look at them out here. It's parents involved with a great coach. Give yourselves a big hand.
Okay, our public speaker cards, Mr. Arnold Sachs, followed by Olga Hall.
Mr. Sachs.
Good evening. I think you set a record. I'd like to talk about a few things. Yesterday, at the MTA board meeting, I brought to the attention, they seem to be going through some cuts which were addressed at the Transportation Committee meeting, also in City Transportation Committee meeting held at City Hall. My point is that they've made changes to the schedules, they've dropped services, and when they claim it's a governance done through the governance councils, it's not done at the governance hearings, it's not done at the board of MTA. It's kind of like what they did with the dropping the agreement or the working agreement that occurred between MTA and LADOT with Dash, where they took away the quarter fare where you could use your pass to get on the buses for free. And it wasn't done by the MTA board. It was just done by management. And the public has no input on these decisions at all, whether it's at the MTA board because they don't have a hearing or through the governance committee. So I come to the city council, I ask, who do you go to? They've eliminated transfers on some lines and they've dropped services. And you have no recourse. I'd also like to bring about, also on last Thursday there was a news program on NBC regarding energy efficient light bulbs that are being touted as the best thing since sliced bread. Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, it seems in the story, these energy efficient light bulbs contain mercury. How can city agencies put out energy efficient light bulbs that contain mercury and not have a plan in case something happens? It's a hazardous waste site.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachs. We're going out to our San Fernando Valley. Bruce Darien, followed by Sharon Brewer and Dr. Daniel Weissman.
Good afternoon, City Council. What I have here is a construction gun, and I'm going to be starting a program, Construction Guns for Youth. This is a pressure washer. This connects to a hose which connects to a pressure washer for cleaning buildings, sidewalks, storefronts, preparing buildings for painting. What I propose is that construction guns be presented to youth for bettering the lives of people in Los Angeles. This gun here will deliver about 3,500 pounds per square inch of pressure in water, which will clean buildings, as I said. Many youth of 16, 17, 18-year-olds can be trained how to use this. It's a simple piece of apparatus that connects to a machine that pressurizes the water. Our youth are involved in using guns that destroy people's lives, and it's time now that we get involved in showing these people how to use guns and pieces of construction equipment to better their lives and the people that they live around. Each week I'll be presenting to the council a different type of construction gun to show that our youth can be trained to use these guns in an appropriate manner to better our city. It is long overdue, and I'll say it once again, it is long overdue that our youth be trained in using construction equipment. Likewise, we must turn back the tide of illegal immigration that are taking away the jobs from our youth. By training our people here in Los Angeles, we'll be ensured that those jobs will be provided to people that are here lawfully. It will take a burden away from their families that are struggling to save their homes because their youth can be generating money to help to bring home, to pay, to offset that their parents would otherwise have to give them money for spending. Thank you.
Yes. Excuse me a second. Thank you. Sharon Brewer.
Sharon Brewer, March 28, 2008, public comment. Persian New Year event, Sunday, March 30th, Lake Balboa. As of today, 2 days before this major event, where half of Lake Balboa Public Park will be closed to the public, I have yet to see anything in English notifying the community about the Persian New Year event this Sunday at Lake Balboa or the closure of half of Lake Balboa. Nothing posted at Lake Balboa where event is being held, and booths have started to be put up. Since Tuesday, March 25th, I have been trying to get details about this event from Recreation and Parks by asking questions. Wednesday, I found out permit for this event wasn't signed yet, and changes regarding Sunday's event could happen even on the day of the event. Yesterday, Thursday, I found out that the hard copy of the signed permit and plot plan I requested will not be available from Recreation and Parks until next week because the person handling this event will not be in the office today, 2 days before a major event that has, as of yesterday, details that were not finalized. I received a call today telling me that this person will not be in the office until next Wednesday, April 2nd. In 2.5 days of emails to Recreation and Parks, I know the following about the Persian New Year event at Lake Balboa, Sunday, March 30th. Park fee charged to the promoter is $1,000. Admission is $10 for adults, children free, no re-entries, no in and out. Bike path inside Lake Balboa closed. Reminder, $10 admission fee goes to the promoter, not Recreation and Parks. Question, is a partial closure of Lake Balboa public park by a promoter who doesn't live in the community for the Persian New Year event being allowed by Recreation and Parks because city leaders, mayor, CD6 council members, and the other council members serving the San Fernando Valley see dollar signs from the Persian community living in LA to support future ballot measures they want passed? My answer is yes. These city leaders don't care how this event impacts the local community and park users. If they cared, this event would not be allowed to go forward with so many negative impacts. Thank you.
Dr. Daniel Weissman.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the council. I'm glad to report that even though the chairs in back of me that you can see on the screen are empty, they are no less empty than they are in City Council, and that there are more people out here than there are there. I'm here to talk about the Department of Water and Power rate discussion that went on last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, we spent over 3 hours talking about those rate increases, and then were surprised to find there were 9 amendments that you council members brought forward. 9 amendments which had not been known to the public before that day, which had not been written before the day before that day. Now, when new things like this come forward, and you know that there are 66 of the 75 members of the Oversight Committee of the Department of Water and Power who are interested in it, you are blindsiding us, and that's not fair. That's not your best foot forward. When you address these issues next Wednesday, they are not on the agenda yet. The agenda for next Wednesday has not been put up yet, and I'm sorry to say that there's a serious lack of transparency, a lack of openness, and a lack of public awareness. Now, I will tell you very quickly, as my time is beginning to shorten now, that 5 or 6 of these 9 amendments allow for the acceptance of the original rate increases. Number 2, though, so-called 6B, the one proposed by Mr. Smith, is the one that really needs our attention. There is the lawsuit going on about the water transfer right now, which puts this into a little bit of a difficult position. But if the city accepts Mr. Smith's recommendation to avoid taking the money from the transfer, then the whole water increase is no longer necessary. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday when we can talk about this, and I hope you will then make it known to the
Thank you,
people.
Dr. Weissman. Now, we are going to item number 1. Is Damian Newton here? Damian Newton? If not, Sharon Brewer, are you still in the San Fernando Valley?
Madam President, item 1 was adopted already.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 1 was already adopted. I apologize. That's right. It was on. We will go to item number...
item number 15.
Yes. Mr. Sachs, you have item number 15, item number 19, and item number 21. We will call all of those items together.
I let Jack go because I thought for sure we'd do that. Have we busted quorum?
Not yet. Mr. Sachs, we always appreciate your public comment, but know that we are potentially going to lose a quorum momentarily. So we are taking items 15, 19, and 21.
The REAP is a penalty phase against some kind of illegal housing. I was wondering, and I'd like to thank you for bringing forth your request to have a audit of the billboards that was in the newspaper, but I'd like to know that we could set up a REAP-type program against the illegal billboards in the city of L.A. That covers my comment on item 19. Thank you for your attention and your answers. Item 21, if there's going to be a discussion on item 21, I'd really like to wait on that, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
If there's going to be a discussion on item 21, or is it just going to be passed?
I believe you were the only one, you had a card, no one of my colleagues called that special.
Okay. Item 19, the Affordable Housing Trust. I'd just like to know on that how the money is going to be spent. That it states here that it's state, local, federal, and Indian, and I'm concerned, especially with the housing, the foreclosure problems that went on. There was an article in the Daily Breeze about the ex-Countrywide exec heading a new firm to help people who who are facing foreclosure, and he's going to present new programs after they went belly up. He's going to present new programs to help the new people. And it's just a case of money chasing after money, and if there's any kind of checks and balances involved in this. Thank you for your time and your attention. And item 21 regards taxis. From March 14th, you had an item regarding, you know what, never mind, nobody's paying attention. I'd just like you to know that after your hearing on transportation, the people who were here for the disabled hearing, some were waiting 45 minutes for access services. And since you're going to be looking at illegal cabs, cabs that have an access service sealed on them but don't provide access services are illegal also. And there should be a way of legislating that if you have an access seal on your vehicle, you represent access services, then you should be able to fulfill the requirements under the access service contract. If you're not an access service driver, then you shouldn't have an access service seal on your
Should
vehicle.
be related to the item that we have before us.
You're talking about legislation against illegal vehicles, illegal taxis. Having a seal and not being legally licensed, not being legally licensed to operate that vehicle is tantamount to having no seal either.
Thank you,
for
Mr.
your
Sachs.
time and your attention.
We do have items 15, 19, and 21 before us. Madam Clerk, if you please could open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Next items.
Next, there are motions for posting and referral.
Those will be posted and referred.
And that there are excuses on desk. Councilmember Rosendahl requests to arrive at 10:45 on April 8th for city business. This meets policy.
Mr. Zine moves. Mr. Reyes seconds.
Councilmember Grill requests to leave at 11 a.m. on May 7th for city business. This meets policy.
Be excused.
Councilmember Weiss requests to leave at 11:15 a.m. on April 25th and to be excused on May 13th for city business. This requires a motion.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl moves, and Mr. Cardenas seconds.
Councilmember Parks requests to be excused on March 28th, April 2nd through 15th, April 22nd through June 6th for personal business. A motion is required for requests for April 9th, 15th, 25th, 30th, May 2nd, 13th, 14th, 30th, and June 6th.
Thank you. Mr. Zine moves. Mr. Alarcon seconds.
And that clears the desk.
Thank you. Any announcements today, colleagues? Yes, Mr. Reyes?
One quick announcement. The Bruins continue. They've
Go
been close
Bruins.
calls. We're heading to the Final Four. Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. Yes, Mr. Labange.
On behalf of Councilmember Parks, to invite everybody who has a ticket to come to the Dodger game, but come early because there's 115,000 people expected at the Coliseum tomorrow night. And Park takes shuttles free from the Dodger Stadium parking lot or take the MTA down Flower all the way. And also, additionally, if you're not a baseball fan, the wildflowers are absolutely beautiful this time of year in Griffith Park. Come and enjoy a hike.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Yes. Mr. Zine?
The shuttle service from Dodger Stadium, they're asking that people call to make a reservation so they know how many buses to deploy. So if you plan to take that free shuttle from Dodger Stadium, you're asked to call Dodgers, and they will then arrange for a proper number of buses if they have 100 people versus 10,000 people. So if you plan to take that free shuttle, please call the Dodger Stadium so they can make arrangements for that. Tom Labange, you'll be driving the bus. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes?
Notified that we can now call Councilman Weston Grandpa. New Grandpa.
Yes. Congratulations. Thank you. I also know tomorrow, I think, a Cesar Chavez walk there at Olvera Street early in the morning, so we hope people will join us with that as well. With that, I know we do have adjourning motions. Please rise. Yes, Mr. Alarcon?
I'd like to announce the Cesar Chavez Walk on Sunday in Mission Hills to San Fernando. It's, I think, over a decade they've been doing this march, and it's a very active march recognizing Cesar Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. Alarcon. If we could ask everyone to please rise. Okay. We'll acknowledge Mr. Rosendahl for our first.
Thank you, Madam President. Firefighter Brent Lovin. It is with great sadness that I adjourn to mark the passing of Brent Lovin, a City of Los Angeles firefighter who died in the line of duty this week, almost 48 hours ago. On Wednesday, the 26th, at 1:57 p.m., Los Angeles firefighters were summoned to investigate smoke at the corner of Sepulveda and La Tierra in Westchester, not far from the Los Angeles International Airport. At approximately 2:20, an explosion occurred at a nearby building, causing injury to 2 male firefighters and 1 civilian. Firefighter Brent Lovin died from the injuries at Centinela Friedman Memorial Hospital a short time later. In fact, I was with a lady yesterday who was right there in the building in that credit union, and he pushed her aside, moved her out, saved her life. The fire department and other city agencies are still investigating the cause of this explosion. But one thing is certain. Our city lost one of its bravest family members this week. Brent was just a kid, 35 years old, but already a 10-year veteran of the fire department, and has been serving out of Fire Station 95 near LAX. He's survived by his brother and both his mother and father. Our prayers go out to the Lovren family and all of Los Angeles Fire Department. Services will be held next Friday, April 4th at 9:30 at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Angels in downtown Los Angeles. On behalf of the entire city, we lost a family member, and everybody is united in the grief, and everybody is praying, frankly, for his colleague, Guzman, who is at UCLA and is recovering and is in satisfactory condition after surgery that happened that late afternoon. And may our friend Brent rest in peace. All members.
All members. Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. And we will be adjourning our City Council meeting next Friday for the funeral that will be here at the Cathedral. I believe it is at 9:30 a.m. Other adjourning motions. Mr. Labange.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful tribute to a life cut short in service to the city, of which many have gone before. So thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Members, I ask we adjourn a member of Lucille Gudioso. She is the mother of our very own Joanna Gudioso, who was a longtime legislative analyst. She passed away for a brief illness, but lived to be a beautiful age of 94 years old. She was survived by her husband, John, and daughters, Joanna and Anita. Also like to adjourn on behalf of Jan Perry for the certificate for adjournment for Vernil Crawford Walker, passed away on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, at the age of 89. Lived a wonderful life, has tremendous passion and loved and helped and shared the life with many other individuals. Was inspirational in that, was a friend to many. She was a hero to her family and very compassionate friend and a great contributor to the community. She will be missed, but she was an adventure and travel, something that all seniors should be. I, on behalf of Ms. Perry, ask that we adjourn in memory of Ms. Walker.
Thank you. Any other adjourning motions? If not, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.